The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
What?
Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink!
Stunner! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people! And welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Sports Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. This program starts now.
Football
is the greatest, and we're lucky to be chit-chatting about it every single day, all the way until that Super Bowl kicks off in February. From now till then, we have actual football to chit-chat about. We have actual stories to chit-chat about. And today, we'll be talking with Paisano, Michael Lombardi, in about 15 minutes. And also Adam Schefter in the second hour. Now, Schefter has been, saying the Aiyuk situation's got to come to a head at some point, maybe this week.
Whoa.
Well, we have to say I can't wait for that. There's a lot of stuff to catch up on. We can't wait to do it all. And, yeah, we're so incredibly lucky and thankful that you allow us to do this. I had a chance to be in South Florida last night, Sunrise, the home of the Florida Panthers, the Stanley Cup champions, and I'll tell you, the humidity down there when you land, it does.
Wow, sticks to you, huh?
Feels like you're there. It wasn't too hot, but it did feel like Caribbean. They live a Caribbean life.
Oh, yeah?
Like, that is there every single day.
Sweet.
It's hard not to just be like, wow, I could see how people would definitely want to live down here. The crowd, 13,718 people on a Monday night. It's a historic, I think it's a record-breaking attendance number for the WWE in South Florida. I think that's the most people ever. The crowd was amazing. I got a chance to say thank you to everybody. It was a blast last night, and Randy Orton wrestled.
My God.
And got into a fight at the end of it. It was a perfect night, and I'm thankful that I got a chance to be a part of the WWE yet again alongside that man, Michael Cole. Thank you to the WWE Universe.
Good run.
Thank you to the WWE Universe. The Talks Table was here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Sweet shirt, kind of trippy.
Yeah, a little bit. Just continuing with the green. I figure, this is a good one, good vibes, and we're just one day closer to Ireland, baby.
Well, I'll tell you what, one day closer to Ireland is certainly a great thing. We're also in a day now where Patriots fans' reactions to stuff is certainly going to be a topic of conversation today. And I can't wait to, we'll ask Lombo about it, we'll ask Schefter about it.
Sure.
Because what Judon says immediately upon getting traded to the Atlanta Falcons certainly shines a light on what happened in New England.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Then it certainly shines a light on what's going on in New York with Hassan Reddick.
Mm-hmm.
And then it makes, that Atlanta Falcons organization, if you're hearing about this dinner, that was a recruiting dinner for Justin Simmons to sign down there, head coach, star players, GM down there, recruiting Justin Simmons come down there. Judon just being like, nah, I got to prove myself. It's like, what's going on in Atlanta? Do they got the magic sauce right now? And if they were in on the Aiyuk conversation, which they can't because the Kirk Cousins money and the money that they give in other places, but if they were in on the Aiyuk conversation, feels like Atlanta might have been able to get the deal done. They are hustling down there to get great. And Judon, obviously, a pillar piece for them, I think, probably going forward, even though he only has 1 year left on his contract, and he says he's going to have to prove to the people in the building that he's worthy of the next contract. What does that mean about what he thinks about New England? We'll talk about all throughout the day. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys Tone Diggs back on the stage, fresh out of Hammer, Dahn, which you will certainly go back to every once in a while through the season. Great to see you up here. How are you doing, pal?
Great to be here. I'm doing lovely. It's so beautiful in the morning now. It's nice. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, the Christmas in the air. Feels like football season. Football's here. We're saying football at the beginning of the show. It's great.
Yeah, it is fantastic. I absolutely love it. And the stories around football, still fun,
Sure.
Not necessarily, is this team going to go win a Super Bowl? Or,
No.
Is this team looking better than ever? Or is this team going to be able to get out of a drought? Or this team's third down's really not good. That's going to come back and bite them in the ass whenever football matters. Where we're at is just talking about stories that are seemingly going in a circle.
That's right.
A lot of circle storying going on. Okay?
Tails.
Maybe even two hands of circle storying going on.
Circle jerking.
Yeah, look. Whoa.
Circle
Tom.
jerking around. I know what he's saying.
Yeah. People are getting jerked around.
Yeah.
All over the place. This Judon story, as a New England Patriot fan, red sleeves, obviously no longer roaming the field for the Patriots. He was up there in the new era of Colts, still Belichick era, of Patriots, still Belichick era of Patriots up there. He has the situation with Coach Mayo, on the field whenever he was holding out or sitting out of padded practices. He and Coach Mayo talk. Mayo sends him off the field. He's back the next day. Then, boom, he's traded to the Atlanta Falcons. Holy hell, the Atlanta Falcons are trading for Judon. Do they have a deal done? They do not have a deal done. Wow, Falcons are idiots again. They pay a quarterback $180 million. Then they draft Michael Penix Jr. in the top 10. Who's your quarterback? You don't have one. What's your plan? You don't have one. Then they trade for Judon without a deal getting done. Are you guys Hassan Reddick again?
Could be.
What a bunch of doofuses. How many amateurs we got running NFL teams these days? We're all natural thoughts to have with the Atlanta Falcons after the Judon trade gets announced because it was a contract dispute. Then he gets traded to a team he's never done anything for. So he can definitely hold out from there too if he can hold out from New England. Instead, Judon gives an answer that says, nah, I'm willing to prove myself.
Ooh.
I want to prove myself.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons don't know me as a football player. They know my history, so I can't demand something I haven't worked for. So he's just working to put his best foot forward at this point. Doesn't appear to be a sticking point. And then you listen to what Bill Belichick told us yesterday about what happened with Judon last year whenever he had 2 years left on his contract. Bill Belichick said, I told Matthew Judon and his team, who I have a lot of respect for, that we're not doing anything unless you're practicing. Like, we can't just have somebody come here and then not practice and then pay a person. And you set a precedent when, you have a 15-man band coming in your office.
Yeah.
With 2 years left on your deal, holding out, not getting things happen. You go to work, we'll figure out how to get a deal done. Now he's kind of taking the same mindset to Atlanta. Raheem Morris, obviously beloved by a lot of people, would have to be to get all these things done that is currently taking place down there. Terry Fontenot has a vision for the team. Kirk Cousins' birthday was yesterday.
Hey, happy birthday, Kirk.
We'll check out his white boy playlist for his birthday that they had to practice down there. But the Judon stuff coming out, I think, is great news for the way I view the Atlanta Falcons. And obviously Judon as well. But the Atlanta Falcons are handling this situation with another star, all-pro, pillar guy that could potentially be, just like Hassan Reddick with the Jets, could be all this stuff. But for one reason or another, Judon says, I still got to prove myself to these people. I've never been here. Hassan Reddick says, I'm getting the fuck out of here because you're not paying me, even though you've never seen me in a meeting before. Two vastly different outcomes. And shout out to the Falcons, I guess, for handling this much, 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 much better. And as a Patriots fan, what does this make you feel like?
I mean, I feel like this was kind of the story with him before he got traded. Like, he did sit out, but then he came back, and it felt as though, from his side at least, like he was going to play for the Patriots if they did keep him, just because if he, demanded the trade and got or was asked to leave or anything like that, he would have just been traded without coming back. So it seemed as though he was already in the mindset, like, all right, I'll play this year under my current deal. Hopefully I get an extension either during the season or after, but then instead just got shipped out of town. I feel like the precedent thing that you just mentioned is kind of why the Patriots ended up moving on from him, just because first-year GM, first-year head coach, hey, if we start doing this with guys on their last year of their deal coming off a season where they played 4 games, what does that say to everybody else on this team? Like, oh, hey, if I just do the Matthew Judon thing, then I'll get paid here. And that isn't really something that you want, whether it's 2 years left on your deal, 1 year left on your deal. But for the Falcons, I mean, this is perfect for them. Judon is in a prove-it type year, not only because of his contract, but because, he missed 13 games last year. I, for one, still view the Falcons as the Jets of the NFC. Bill Belichick yesterday said, like, hey, these teams that have a lot of money out, not money in, and he referenced the Saints, who we talked about for the last 3 off seasons as doing salary cap gymnastics.
Maybe even more.
Possibly the last 5. Yeah. Since towards the end.
What they lost, like $170 million off the books somehow.
Yeah,
in a 4-day period.
Yeah, and then Taysom Hill got a 4-year, $160 million contract with the last 3 years voidable.
Do you remember Travis Kelce was on with us the day that deal happened? And we go, Trav, Taysom Hill just signed a 4-year, $160 million deal. And Trav goes, Well, that's news to me. Well,
excuse me?
See, what your tight end player just signed? Well, that had a quarterback option in it. If he was the starting quarterback,
Now he's
he would
fullback.
be able to get that. And then there was three
Three.
voidable years on the end of it. So it was like the biggest salary cap gymnastic and salary cap fugazi. But yeah, you're right. For like 5 years, they've been dealing with it. Where are they now? We shall see. I think you said Atlanta as well. He didn't bring up the Rams, who had kind of gone through their
Yes.
got a Super Bowl out of it.
Right.
In their home stadium, which is certainly a roll of the dice.
Had a draft pick this year for the first time forever.
Forever, because remember, fuck them picks. But like the kick the can down the road thing became the move. And whenever you saw the Rams have success with it, it was hard for us doofuses, not to be like, do that.
Yeah, Bucks too. With Brady.
Yeah, bingo. And they win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Money doesn't matter. Salary cap doesn't matter. What are we even doing? Everything's going up and to the right. Let's just continue to just feed it, kick it down the road. And then all of a sudden you see teams like, hey, okay, we got to deal with this now. Bang, bang, boom, boom, boom. Russell Wilson got paid before he even stepped foot on the field as a Denver Bronco.
Yeah.
A lot of money. Now they're eating $83 million over there, so that's obviously a downfall of it. The Rams not having anything to build for the future if anybody retires, that is a downfall of it. The Bucs have had to deal with it post-Tom Brady, but they were going to have to deal with anything post-Tom Brady. I think Baker Mayfield is awesome, but they've been having to deal with it. The Saints had to, Sean Payton just on a Wednesday says, you know what, and then new head coach comes in, he's the right guy, but we're at a deficit finance-wise, and we got to move on from basically legendary team that brought Super Bowl II Saints into new one, so that's a tough spot. It is interesting how everybody's past mistakes with different regimes have potentially carried into new ones. Outlier, obviously, Rams.
Yeah, and that's why it feels like Falcons are all in this year, just because of these one-year deals and because of all the money that they've already spent.
They also they got their quarterback, or maybe two of them, which they haven't had since Matt Ryan. In the last 3 seasons, I think they've only had like 80 sacks, which is the lowest in the NFL over those 3 seasons. They have the easiest strength of schedule based on last year's record. Do the Falcons this year? So I think them going all in for the season and getting Justin Simmons is like, hey, we got our new coach, we got our quarterback, we have a nice little schedule, and our division's not too hard. Like, we can start off this new regime on a nice high note.
The NFC South, too, very gettable.
Yeah.
You know,
They're the favorites in it.
Yeah, and the Bucs, though, people just won't talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers potentially being awesome. And remember last year there was 2 different runs in which the Bucs were awesome. They had that downtime in the middle of the season, which I think people want to hold over the Bucs because it's Baker Mayfield, and people want to hold shit over Baker Mayfield's head anyways. But there was 2 different runs last year where the Bucs looked like some of the best, maybe the top 5 team in the league on multiple different occasions. If you talk about all the weapons they have. Now, I know they lose people, but that NFC South is certainly gettable, and the Falcons continue to make plays. And you got Judon buying in, and then Justin Simmons said this about a dinner, because Justin Simmons was a free agent, and he's an all-pro stud. He signs on with the Atlanta Falcons just last week, and he talked about a dinner in which they basically recruited him to come down there and buy into the vision. Wonderful stuff happening in Atlanta all of a sudden.
Chops is what sold it, honestly.
Chops a restaurant.
No, I'm joking. So Grady, AJ, and Jesse were the players there. Obviously, Coach Raw and
Coach Raw.
Coach Raw was there. Terry was there, and so it was just a great dinner.
Actually asked him.
I'm familiar with Coach Raw and the defense that he runs, and so a lot of it was kind of talking X's and O's, just philosophy, vision. Big things like that, and then really just getting a feel for the culture and the guys there. Obviously, Jesse being acquired, from Cincy, and then Grady playing his career here. AJ obviously being a cornerstone in the organization, and so just getting a feel from those guys, like from the transition from their old head coach to Coach Raw. What's the feel? How's the culture? What do you guys like? What do you guys dislike? Those types of questions. And man, it was a great dinner, and I know everyone saw that clip of Grady on Good Morning Football talking about, the car, and this is how they treat you in Atlanta. That did happen. So I will admit that did happen. But now I'm super excited to be here. This is what we were waiting for, an opportunity like this, and I can't wait for this thing to get rolling. Shout
out to all the stenographers who have to make sure they get every single word in real time. Can't just look at a video later and transcribe it, or have AI actually do it on your phone during a video. I appreciate the old school. We got to type so loud that it's actually going to cover up the answer potentially, because that's how diligent all the beat reporters are working, and we thank them for their service.
Thank you, Beaters.
Speaking of Caboli, thank you to the Beaters. Caboli will be joining us in the next hour.
Hell yeah.
Who's on the beat for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the building for the first time in like 2 weeks. First time back at practice, boots on the ground. as a correspondent for our program. But if you think about the Atlanta Falcons, you hear the way Justin's talking about, they're having this full recruiting dinner, and I know this has happened in other places and people have chatted about it, but them treating it like almost like an interview for a coaching job, but then also telling them, hey, we need you here. This is what we're looking for. Don't have to buy into a 10-year deal here. Just, I think we can really get things right. And Coach Raheem Morris is beloved by everybody. When he came on our show, his energy was infectious.
Yeah.
So I assume that he is very open and excited to get in the room with some of the guys. Like, hey, let me know who you're targeting. Let's do a dinner. Let's sit down with them. We don't know if they're the right fit for us, but also let's let them know what we're about so they can feel it. The Atlanta Falcons, who have certainly made some interesting decisions over the last 12 months. By far.
Yeah.
There's been a lot that has happened. But that feels like they're doing things right. And talking about the car and how everything goes, it's like the little details. Wait a minute. Are the Atlanta Falcons starting to look at the tiny little details in this entire thing? What are we seeing out of Atlanta? I'm feeling a lot of hope down there all of a sudden. Now, granted, we're about to have Lombardi on in about a minute or 5, and he's going to certainly have Super Bowl winning Terry Fontenot conversation and everything like that. But it's like these little things you hear. It's like this is what good programs do. This is what good organizations do. And I would be pumped if I'm a Falcons fan to hear it from Simmons.
Yeah, obviously the Penix thing is going to kind of hang over them until it comes to head, and eventually that might be like one of the best decisions they've ever made. But you could tell when we sat down with Raheem Morris at the team meetings, like this guy, not only in terms of like X's and O's is he very well respected, obviously with everything he did with the Rams, former head coach, but like he did have a very infectious personality. And it's weird because, I mean, obviously we never played, so you don't know, but I feel like there is something to guys like Judon and Justin Simmons where like they have a chance to kind of put their own stamp on Atlanta, like new team, new head coach, like
great city.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome city. Guys love playing there. Sweet stadium. Like there's a lot to like about Atlanta, and obviously when you have a guy like Raheem Morris, I feel like guys kind of, I mean, just in the 30 minutes we talked to him, it's like, wow, this guy's incredible. I'd run through a wall for him. So you could see how vets in the league would kind of gravitate towards him, not only respecting what he can do as a coach, but just like you want to play for that guy every day.
Joining us now is certainly a man who has had his questions about the way the Atlanta Falcons are operating, and how could you not? But also he's one of the closest friends of the greatest coach and GM of all time, who was looking into that job, and then things were said, and then a lot took place. So he's coming from that perspective. But what he's hearing, I assume he has to have respect for, because this is like, I don't want to say great leadership from the head coach and GM coming together to kind of put the team in their image. Ladies and gentlemen, Daily Coach writer, which is an email newsletter, live show host, The Lombardi Line, GM host podcast, or GM Shuffle, TED Talker, author, ladies and gentlemen, Paisan Michael Lombardi.
Yeah, how we doing today? We're getting closer. You'll be in Ireland soon. You'll be drinking warm beer soon.
No. Remember, Lombo, it's not beer; it's coffee. Remember on air, it'll look like it's a Guinness. It'll be in a Guinness glass, a pint glass. But that's just coffee. That's not actual beer.
No.
You know, in the smoke that kind of and permeates from.
You're going to play your inner Dean Martin, where he was saying he was drinking apple juice, not bourbon. I got it. Oh, good. No, we're good.
Bingo. Ron White, same thing with the tequila. Yeah, all of this. That's not beer. It's CBD that's burning below the desk right now, and everything over there is coffee. But Lombo, we are excited that football is back, and we were just talking about the Atlanta Falcons. You, alongside us, alongside everybody, has a lot of questions. But when you hear Justin Simmons talk about that dinner and the recruitment and the pitch and the deal not being, it's not a crazy deal for Justin Simmons. And then Judon, who literally everything happens with New England, gets traded down there, and he goes, I got to prove myself to this team. I assume they had some similar meeting with Coach Ra and Terry Fontenot. It's like, feels like there's some things that they're doing at a very high level whenever it comes to running a program, running an organization. Do you agree with that? And what is your assessment on Judon saying, I got to prove it down here, with the Hassan Reddick situation cooking in New York, and also what just took place in New England?
Well, I think Judon's a true pro. I think he's a great pro. I think he loves football. I think that's been proven. And the fact that he's not pushing them to redo his deal at, $6.5 million is pretty, I think it's remarkable for him. And for the Falcons to give up a third-round pick without a contract extension is also a little risky on their part, but he could become a free agent at the end of the year and they could get a compensatory pick back for him. So I like that move. The questions you started with Michael Penix, and I think, is fair because Penix to me, and I heard Raheem talk about it, and I have great respect for Raheem. I really do. He was a young head coach. I'm sure he learned a lot from Tampa experience. He learned a lot from the interim experience in Atlanta. But for me, not playing Penix when I'm watching Patrick Mahomes play, Brady talking about playing, I think these younger guys who are going to be backups, they're not going to get a lot of reps. I think they need to play a little bit, especially ones that haven't played any pro football. So that would be my real concern. How good can Atlanta be defensively? Look, Ryan Nielsen, their defensive coordinator last year, was really good. They were fourth in the league on third down with no pass rush at all. That really remarkable. And they were the third best red zone in the league last year with no pass rush. Pretty remarkable. And their best player, Calais Campbell, they let go to Miami for nothing for $3.5 million, which I didn't understand. He had 19.5 quarterback hits last year. So I think this is a division, Pat, that's got a lot of interesting teams in it, starting with the team that has won, Tampa Bay.
Bill talked yesterday about how, contract situations and salary cap gymnastics in that NFC South, he started rattling off names, are certainly something that they're going to have to think about going forward. We saw the Saints the other night. What are the Saints going to be? That's a real question. What are the Saints going to be?
Fair question. I mean, look, Derek Carr, the last 4 games of the year, he throws 14 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions. They average 24 points. The first 4 games, he throws 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They average 15 points. Which Derek Carr are we going to see? I think that's the main question right there. I do think their offensive line's much better. And defensively, they're a problem for a lot of teams. Look, they go into Tampa in Week 17, and Tampa wins the division, but they shut down Tampa as well as anybody. Dennis Allen, for all the the people in the betting market, because Dennis Allen is one of the worst coaches against the spread. He gets a lot of crap. But his defensive acumen is outstanding.
You talked about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Week 17 match last year. That was when the Bucs were on a hot run, too. The Bucs had 2 different hot runs last season where they looked like some of the best football in the entire NFL. So you talk about the Bucs, you talk about the Saints, you talk about the Falcons who have an opportunity. And then the Carolina Panthers, are we all just assume they suck this year? Is that is that how everybody's thinking?
Well, they can't suck. They got to be better than they were last year. I mean, look, I give Dave Canales is going to be much improved offensively. Defensively, look, this is a team that beat the Houston Texans with C.J. Stroud earlier in the year. They have good defensive talent. Now they've made a lot of changes. They lost Chin, Luva, Brian Burns. Yeah. So they're going to have to fill in some real blanks here. But look, they're going to play hard for their coach because here's why. They know he's got a 6-year contract. He's not going to get fired at the end of the year.
Well,
now they have a temperamental owner, but at least they have some stability, and I think you'll see a better effort out of them. And I don't think Bryce Young is as bad as we all suspect he was.
Yeah, you're a believer in Bryce Young, have been, so that is something I think should be noted. Now, are the Carolina Panthers going to be able to continue, to get better somehow without the temperamental
nice.
owner? Because obviously you get something wrong, you got to try to fix it. But in the NFL, if you fix it too much, you just put somebody's career in a blender, and then it's, do we ever know? And people say we know, but also, do we ever? We have no idea, because if it doesn't work out this year, and can also put Bryce in much better spots, we all assume, than he was put in last year. But it's if they stink, is Tepper going to just be stop, we're done. I'm paying you for 6 years. I don't care. Go golf and get out of there. We shall see. Let's move to some other storylines happening around the NFL. Coach Harbaugh continues to be awesome. Coach Harbaugh continues to be great. Herbert obviously hurt. Well, how should we realistically view that Chargers team? Because as we look at the AFC West, all roads run through Kansas City. We understand that. And they appear to be back. They're doing behind-the-back bullshit. They're doing that. Gardner Minshew starting for the Raiders. Okay, here we go. At least they have a direction. I don't know if AP, was as excited about making the decision of Gardner or just felt like he had to make the decision, and he continues to roll. The Chargers, are they going to be a real threat here, you think, in this entire AFC West game, or is it going to take a couple years for Harbaugh's shit to kind of settle in? And the Broncos, obviously, plus 2,000. Bo Nix has looked the part. And if Bo Nix looks the part, you can win any game. So, like, how does the AFC West shape up, and how serious should we be viewing the Chargers?
Well, I think the Chargers will become a mentally tough team as the year goes on. I mean, this head coach is all about culture. He's all about trying to manage the game. One of the things we don't see in preseason is the essence of how do I want to play the game. See, this is the biggest conversation that has to take place in all 31 cities today and starting for the next 10 days. Coach Belichick would be sitting in his office at this time saying, okay, how do we have to play to win this game? How do we have to play to win this year? You can't just come out and say we're going to run our offense. You got to say, okay, here's our strengths and weaknesses of our team. And I think Jim Harbaugh is really good at that. I think he'll manage the game. His situational football coaching is outstanding. And I think he'll do a really good job. I think his team's going to take some time as we watch in the preseason to come together. Now they get Herbert back, which makes a huge difference. But they'll be tough. They'll run the football. They're going to have to prove they can stop the run defensively, and Bosa and Mack are going to have to be able to get a little bit of a lead to play from in front. The interesting team to me is Denver. Denver because, look, Denver's 1-9 against the Raiders over the last 5 years. That's hard to believe. 1-9 against the Raiders.
Yikes.
And so the Raiders have dominated this. But I think with Bo Nix, what you see with Bo Nix, Pat, this is really important. Bo Nix is what scouting is about. It's called scouting inside out. Sean Payton knew exactly what he wanted in a quarterback. He knew the traits, he knew the characteristics, and he knew the mental makeup that he needed to run his offense. Okay, and so he saw Bo Nix, and that fit. Now, it might not have fit for all the draft Nix and the guy in his basement in Des Moines evaluating people. That's fine. But for Sean, it does. And for a quarterback, to get a quarterback who can do what he wants him to do, last year he won 9 games. And I think this year they're going to be improved. I really think they'll be improved, even with a rookie quarterback, because Sean, like Jim Harbaugh, will manage the game correctly around the player's skill set. He's not going to ask this guy to do something he can't do. And as for the Raiders, look, I think when you're spending time deciding whether you should start Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell, you probably should spend time thinking we might need to get another quarterback.
Okay.
And I think that's probably the real
Gardner was in a Pro Bowl last year, Lombo.
Michael.
You son of a
starter.
bitch.
They need a starting quarterback because their offensive line, look, people can say all the nice things they want. This is a team last year that won 3 of the last 4 games down the stretch. They lost right in front of you to Indy. And when they turn the ball over on offense, they have no chance to win. The last 4 games of the year, they did not turn the ball over once, right? And the only game they couldn't create a turnover was the game you watched against the Colts. I just think they're quarterbackless. They've got good skill. Their offensive line's in question, but they need a quarterback.
You don't know Gardner Minshew football, okay? Because right in front of my face last year, I saw Gardner shoulder shimmy and lead the boys almost to the playoffs, almost to an AFC South championship. Just literally that far
that's
away.
Right. It's literally right there. If he throws it better there, we win the game.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I mean, that's where people misconstrue. Like quarterbacks ask Brady. I mean, it's not about the ball has to be in a certain spot.
Okay, all right. Yes, I get it.
When you were in Indianapolis and you played Baltimore and Dallas Clark runs an option route on 3rd down, and if you don't convert it, you're not winning that game over in Baltimore. But Peyton put the ball in the exact only spot it could be, 1st down, game over.
Yeah, I concur on all of that. And there was a couple games last year where Gardner Minshew was certainly not playing his best football, and we got 2 picks in the first 2 series, which I think is what you were alluding to there with the Raiders, especially with the addition of Wilkins on the D-line. You had Wilkins, you got Crosby. Good. They're going to play every single down. It's just like the Steelers situation. Like, let's not turn the ball over, okay? We cannot be giving away possessions. We cannot get into a shootout with anybody. And Gardner,
that line you wrote there on Twitter is so true. But what when you say that, when people hear that, oh, let's not turn the ball over, they think, oh, that's just elementary. Look, let me tell you something. No. You played in the league. It's hard to sit there and most games are lost, not won. And we've all seen this before. And when your quarterback does something wrong, makes a wrong check, and he hands the ball off because when you run the ball into a blitz and the back fumbles, all those things tend to mount themselves. And I think that's something you have to avoid.
Yeah, they say stop throwing picks. It's like, well, there's so much going on. You got to be able to decipher what the defense is, first of all. There wasn't Believe me, when I threw it, that person was not supposed to be there. In my head, I had no idea that person was going to be there. So it's a very difficult position. And then you talking about checking from a run left to run right, maybe, because of a disguise that's potentially bringing a blitz. And then all of a sudden, when the running back gets blown up, they're like, this is the offensive line's fault. This is the running back's fault. Hold on to the ball. It's like, well, also, it would have been much easier. We go the opposite direction. These are all the decisions that are being made by these quarterbacks as they're going up to the line, which is why rookie success at the position is not necessarily an easy thing to find. CJ Stroud last year was obviously phenomenal. Bo Nix appears to be the perfect guy for Sean Payton. And Bill Belichick yesterday talked about the quickness of the offense in Sean Payton. It's like that Oregon offense was literally, we're making decisions, and he doesn't need to have the laces. I mean, we're able to do it, and his size is something that I don't think a lot of us appreciated or respected until these preseason games. When he was running all over the Colts, it was like, this is a big son of a bitch, too. Like, linebackers are looking, I don't want to say up, but they're like looking up at him, and he's thick and he's stout and he's able to make quick decisions. It's like, perfect guy for Sean Payton, which is what he said on draft night. Let's talk about some of the other rookie quarterbacks, because the hype around the Sean Payton-Bo Nix relationship on our particular program started on draft night whenever he just sang his praises and that whole thing. But then during these preseason games, watching him execute, it's like, this the perfect? He looks like he's a 35-year-old quarterback, Lombo. Yeah. He looks like he is a 35-year-old in Sean Payton's system, and it's like, did they figure it out? Both of them would like to prove a lot. Bo, obviously, at Auburn, he can't win. His dad won. He can't win at Auburn. He gets run out of town, goes to Oregon, the furthest place away that you could possibly get from how it all ended there. Then at Oregon, this guy can't win, even though the team was phenomenal. This guy can't. And then Sean Payton, this guy can't coach anymore. See what he did with Russell Wilson? This guy's power hungry. I'll do $83 million, just move on from it. It's like they're both aligned. Similar, like I think with similar mindsets of what they need to do. They're both at a similar spot at their career. They both see football the same way. What if this is the story of the rookie quarterback head coach combination that we're telling all season? But also, there's another guy, generational. Ty has a question for you, Lombo.
Yeah, Lombo, obviously when you watch Caleb Williams, the box score might not wow you, but I think he certainly passes the eye test in terms of just like the highlights we'll see, buying time in the pocket, making some of those crazy throws. What do you think? I mean, we've talked a bunch about this, about how he might be going into the best situation a rookie quarterback has ever gone into. Is the expectation that he's just going to hit the ground running when the season starts, or how do you think this season is going to play out for Caleb Williams?
I think highlights are the most dangerous things in preseason because they tell a story that's not really the story.
I saw him do
let me say this. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a great pro. But let's just put things in perspective here. The first 3 drives of the game, the Bengals are playing their backup number 2 defensive team. And the Bengals and the Bears are playing their first team offense. They couldn't get a first down.
Okay.
So let's slow down. Everybody calm down here. Let's not run off to the races. I think Caleb's going to be a good player. But I think the bigger concern for Caleb is going to be, can they protect? They're going to be a spread team, and they're in Chicago with bad weather. Is the line going to be good enough? That line struggled to pass to run block against the Bengals backups. I mean, watch the tape. Tape don't lie. So I think he's going to have to come. He's going to have good days. He's going to have bad days, just like Bo Nix. But the Bears finally have somebody that they can say will be our quarterback for the next 5 years. There's no question in my mind about that. But they're going to have to find the right system of offense around them. And I think that's going to be, because right now they're going to be a spread team. And that means their tackles have to be really good.
He's already committed to the TB12 diet plan. He has on his back, his phone screen is all the records he wants to get. He's already created the for the Bears. He's going out in the city of Chicago with the other rookies. It's like, this dude wants to be great in Chicago, it feels like. He wants to be legendary in the NFL. Now, I'm not saying that from a selfish perspective, but he has very lofty goals to be the greatest of all time. And it's like, to be the greatest of all time, you got to buy into your team. You got to buy into your community. You got to be able to be coachable. And you got to be able to learn from the situations that take place that maybe don't go well. And that's what this dude's going to do this year. Congrats to the Chicago Bears.
You got one.
Wow.
Way to go, Chicago. Now let's stay in the rookie quarterback conversation because there's one happening in a place that you used to stomp around. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Lombo, bit of a situation brewing in New England. Going back to the draft, obviously, the plan was, hey, the Patriots have Jacoby Brissett, 1-year deal. I believe it's for $8 million, $3 million guaranteed. And then, Drake May will have an entire rookie season where, since he is only 21, can develop, work on the things that he isn't great at, the feet being the main thing. And now, as training camp has gone on, it has become pretty apparent to most people that Drake May is clearly better than Jacoby Brissett. And now, 19 days out from the season opener, Gerard Mayo's coming out. They don't really have a definitive starter for the Patriots, and Drake May is now taking first team reps, and it seems as though the tide is turning towards, hey, Drake May sure could have had a year off, but he is maybe the guy going in week 1 for New England. What do you make of that situation, and do you think that it's smart to kind of just roll out the dice, kind of roll out Drake May as the number 1 guy from week 1 on, or do you see them kind of taking this last preseason game, still going with Jacoby Brissett and letting Drake May come in maybe, week 6, week 7, if it calls for it?
Yeah, I think to me, I would stick to the plan. I would play Jacoby Brissett until I thought this offensive line got settled down. Right now we don't know who's going to be the tackles, how good will they be in the offensive line. And I think, look, I don't think you want to put Drake May out there and have him lose confidence. I don't think you want to put Drake May out there in week 3, bench him. I just don't think you want to do that. I think it's a lot easier to move from Brissett to May than it is to move from May to Brissett. Then you lose the kid's confidence. And I think a lot of this goes back to what is our plan. I think one of the things Sean Payton has with Bo Nix is he has a plan. He knew exactly what he was going to do from day one when he drafted him to what he's going to do. And I think the Patriots should stay on course. Look, Drake May got better last week than he did the week before. I think he's going to continue to make steady progress, which is good. But I don't think the Patriots should rush this guy because he's going to get the crap beat out of him, and it's going to be harder and harder once the games start. Look, preseason is good, but the regular season, it's faster, faster, faster. That's why you sign Brissett. So I think, to me, you have to second order think. What happens if May is playing like a real rookie and hurting us? Do I bench him in week 4? Or what happens if Brissett's playing and he's not doing something? Then I could put May in and lift the team up and go with it the rest of the year. But once you go May, it's hard to go to Brissett from that point.
How does he get better, though, Lombo? Like you say throughout his, the rookie year as he's sitting behind Brissett, like he can continue to get better. But if he's not playing and getting reps.
He's going to I'm not saying bench him the whole year, Boston. I think, to me, there's going to be a moment where the team's going to say, okay, we got to get him in there. And then those 8 or 9 games. But what you don't want to do is put him out there where he's getting the crap beat out of him like Sam Howell last year, and his eye level comes down. Remember, everything about a quarterback is their eye level. Their eye level tells you everything. When it's yards per attempt, and when their eye level is above the line, they can see down the field they're throwing, like that throw we're watching. But when they start to get hit, and they can tell you what the left tackle did on his set, and they can tell you what the right tackle didn't squeeze, then their eye level's too far down, and you're not going to have an offense. And that happens when you get hit. It's like a boxer who gets hit too much. All of a sudden he starts flinching at punches that don't come. And so you got to be really careful here. I think you have to think long-term with Drake May, not short-term. Short-term, okay, Brissett, go out there, see what we can do. If he can't do anything, we can always go to May. But if May goes out there and he goes ahead and sees Lou Amaromo's defense and starts bringing slot blitzes, things he's never seen before.
Close.
Oh, timeout. What are we doing?
Hey, how close were you to nailing that Paisan's name right there? You were close. You were very close.
I'm trying, Pat.
All the letters were there. All the letters were there.
Yeah.
The sound was there. The amount of syllables were there. You got to coach Lou Anarumo. Paisano.
Okay. I didn't accent it enough. All right. I'll work on my Italian.
Thank you. Please be more Italian on this particular program. And you talked about eye level for the quarterbacks. I think Bosa, right, for the Niners, came out and basically said, I don't want to give away anything, but if everybody looks at what we did to Jalen Hurts, that's pretty much what you got to do. He's just going to look down and it's over. And then the next week, I shouldn't have said that, I guess. And then what? The Eagles literally lost.
Yeah, they went right into
and the offense went right into the crapper. And everybody was saying that Jalen was worried about rush more so than executing the offense, which immediately brings you back there. Drake May losing confidence, I think, is going to be tough. But there is a chance that you just get like Bryce Young last year.
Yeah.
How was Bryce Young's confidence at the beginning of the year versus the end of the year? Like, how about Tua?
Yeah.
I mean, that clip just came out about Tua talking to Dan Le Batard about the whole how Flores talked to him versus how McDaniel talks to him. And it's like, that's just confidence. Like, his confidence has just come back to be a better player. And if you just get slaughtered and you lose your confidence, you could be broken forever. I mean, that is like legitimately a position where you can't be questioning anything. Your teammates, the play, your arm, your eyes, what you're seeing. I mean, people do, but you're not going to be successful in the entire thing.
But like, Trent Williams isn't joining the team week 6. Like the O-line is what the O-line is. Like, can they not scheme around how terrible, specifically the left tackle is right now? Is that not something they can do, or is it more?
No, they're going to do that. They're going to have to chip with their tackles, and they're going to have to protect. I mean, that goes back to what I said earlier. How do we have to play to win, right? See, the Patriots' path to winning is very narrow. They have to play a certain way, a particular way, offensively, defensively, in the kicking game. And same thing with like Denver and the Raiders, those kind of teams. Whereas Kansas City, they can play a little different style depending on who their opponent is and how to win. But for the Patriots, they have to run it. They've got to be able to protect their tackles. They can't get into a 40-pass game. See, this is what happens when you get behind and all of a sudden you're in a 40-pass game. You're not going to win those games. It's too hard. You got a rookie quarterback, you got too much volume, and you got a defense that's going to be playing all variations. It becomes a real issue. So, look, I think by week 6, we'll know better about the Patriots' offensive line too, boss. And I think that's the other thing. They'll get better.
All right, so we'll move past the New England Patriot conversation, but something you just mentioned there takes us back to a conversation yesterday with Bill where he was talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he was like, Pittsburgh Steelers aren't a team that are going to be throwing the ball 40 times. And if they are, they're not winning. Like that. He literally broke that down. And he said it so matter of fact. It was like, oh, this is how Bill views whenever he's scouting the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is just who they are. This is who Mike Tomlin is, who he has massive respect for. When you see that situation kind of unfolding the way it is, and Mike Greenberg came on the show last year, and Greeny's in 2 Broadcasting Hall of Fame, so he obviously has a way with words and has for a long time. He said, we talked about it on Get Up, McAfee. Feels like the Steelers did the old get rid of 1 bad quarterback, now bring in 2 bad quarterbacks. Ooh. Is it too early to say that? Okay, you just did a little Is it too early to say that? I know your thoughts on Justin Fields in the past.
Look, like most everything, we overreact. Look, the offensive line was
not us. You're not talking about us.
We never do that.
You're talking overreacting. You're not us.
Yeah, I mean, I do. You can accuse me of that too, but I think to me, look, I think Russell looks a little bit, his eye level's down. I'm not going to lie. And it would be a concern for me. But I know Mike Tomlin is going to do exactly what I said. He's going to figure out what he has to do to win the game, how he has to play the game to win the game, a strategy that will allow us to win, not a strategy that people want us to do. They won 10 games last year, ugly. But to me, I wonder is, with the line being as bad as it was, is Ryan Tannehill sitting out there on the street? Do you make that phone call? You make that phone call to Ryan Tannehill. He knows Arthur's offense. But like you can see right there, the rookie, the first-round pick from last year, Jones, just got pushed right back. I mean, nobody can play quarterback in that situation.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Mark Caboli was saying. Mm-hmm. Mark Caboli saying, how do we judge anything with what's going on? The offensive line is supposed to be a strength. And they didn't look like that at all.
Steelers fans have a new number 1 target in Pittsburgh, and that is the O-line coach. Last year it was Matt Canada. This year it's the O-line coach. They're coming after him. Broderick's a left tackle playing at right. Fatanu was hurt. He was going to be the right tackle. Dan Moore's been the 4th-round pick who hasn't looked great at all. Frazier has looked unbelievable at center.
He's going to be starting, right?
Yes. Herbie got hurt, and Herbie's a good guy. He was going to be backup guard, backup center, whatever. But Frazier's in there. Frazier's looked awesome. I can't help but think when I see Russ and Fields stand next to each other. Have you seen the recruiting videos when the kids take their dads to on recruiting trips and the dads get to dress up in football uniforms too?
Yeah.
It's kind of what Justin and Russ look like now. And Russell's the dad.
Whoa, really?
If anybody didn't notice that one.
Okay. Well, Justin's stropping.
Yeah, he's stacked.
He is a stropping lad. And when he gets moving, it's a show. Mm-hmm. It is an absolute show. But the turnover conversation is the convo.
But I'm glad you guys were talking about with Drake May, and you mentioned Bryce Young, and you brought up Sam Howell, Lombo. Last year, Sam Howell was sacked 65 times. Bryce Young was sacked 62 times. The next closest after those were 45 times. The Commanders also led in quarterback pressures and quarterback pressure percentage. The O-line was terrible. So which leads to my question to Jayden Daniels. I saw in the preseason he's throwing the ball like 1.8 seconds, which would be the fastest of all time in the NFL. So do you think Cliff knows that as far as the O-line situation, and what could we think? What are our expectations for Daniels coming here, rookie season starting?
Well, I think Cliff's smart enough to know that, he can't do what the Washington Commanders did last year. That was malpractice to call that many pass plays, to not try to include the run, to get the quarterback killed, to not have answers for certain blitzes that they didn't have answers. I mean, I think I watched Sam Howell play last week against Tennessee, and he's still reeling from all those hits he had. And Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, he took great pride. Look, Andy Reid would be proud of me. I'm calling all these passes. No, Andy Reid wants to manage the game. You got to manage the game to give your players the best chance to win the game. Calling passes isn't exactly the best strategy when you can't protect. So I do think Cliff's smart enough to balance this out. And look, the Daniels is a tough guy to defend because he can run the ball. He gained 1,000 yards at LSU. The ball's going to come out of his hands quickly, but they're going to run it. They're going to be in a tight end, will be on the field. I do think they'll try to blend and incorporate. Look, I'm not saying first down run, second down run, pass. No, I think there's going to be some balance, which you have to have to protect the kid. You can't put this guy in a situation where all of a sudden the onus of winning comes onto his shoulders, and I think that's too unfair. This line's not good enough either. They've improved it, but it's not anywhere near where the Detroit line is. I mean, Jared Goff stands back there. There's nobody around. He's got a table for two. He can throw it whenever he wants. That's when you got a good team.
And Jared Goff, if you give him a table for two, maybe even slide in a 4-piece seat, middle there. He can dice.
Or even touchdowns.
Yeah, that's for sure. What's on the menu tonight?
Touchdowns.
TDs. Mm-hmm. We got some tuds for apps here. We got touchdowns for the entree. And then look at this dessert. Oh, is it a pretty titty?
That's why it's so important to have a really good line. I mean, that's where the Steelers haven't really. I mean, Mike Munchak, when he left, the Steelers line hasn't been the same. These line coaches, let me say this to you, these line coaches are worth their weight in gold. Because when you have the Howard Mudd and you have these Dante Scarnecchi and Mike Munchak, these guys that can coach, Munchak, I mean, that saves you as a personnel man. That's the most important thing in an organization. And you get those guys to play good, and you find a young player like Zach Frazier who could be good for 4 years at an economic value. That's how you handle your cap.
Coach Callahan heads down to Tennessee as well. Great offensive line coach from Cleveland. Cincinnati. No.
He was in
Cleveland.
Yeah, you're right.
He was in Cleveland, and Cleveland's offensive line, best in the league.
Great.
So the Tennessee backups, Pat. Remember, they lost both starting tackles. Then they lost backup tackles, and Billy was able to come in and get it fixed. Now, will he get that done for Tennessee? I think they're going to improve. They'll be a better team, in the offensive line, because those line coaches are so important. And when you don't have a good one, it becomes a real issue.
And listen, the big boys up front, we appreciate.
Always.
We absolutely love. And obviously, I've been a part of field goal operations for the entirety of my football life. So what offensive linemen have had to do for me and whoever is kicking at the time or holding at the time to do our job is absurd. Like, hey, die slowly. You're talking about just full on. There is no me at all in this team. This is a ta. That's how there's no M-E in team. There is no I in this thing. They are literally balls snapped, going like this and just getting steamrolled. Okay, so you're not thinking about your body at all. In the technique, die slowly, like you're gonna get crushed. And they do that just so maybe a ball can go through the uprights for the good of the team. And then if the ball goes through the uprights, guess who's getting the credit? Well, the kicker is getting the credit. And it's like not even talked about. And then they just gotta scrape their bodies up after an entire long drive. Then they get just absolutely, they used to go, before these rules changed, you'd have people pushing too. So you'd have a 260-pound linebacker pushing a 330-pounder D tackle, and then doubled. You'd have both of those, and they just be going on one guard's inside shoulder, both of them. And that guard just was supposed to, as soon as the ball snapped, that he's not snapping, so he doesn't know the exact time. Plant your right leg back or left leg, depending on the side, and then just hold on. And you got actually 600-some pounds of humans touching you, and then 500 pounds of pressing coming. And then if the ball goes through, get your fucking ass up off the field and get out of here, because we got a kickoff, or the cheerleaders have to do a dance because we're during commercial break. So shut up and get off. That is the offensive line mentality, and they don't get talked about enough. But if you have a good offensive line and you can protect and move bodies, you're going to win games. Like you are going to win games. Like that is. So with the Tennessee Titans, the biggest signing for me all offseason, and they've had a bunch, and they've certainly had a plan. Callahan going down there,
huge.
Especially with his son getting that job. It's like, that is a big deal for the Tennessee Titans.
They've drafted the last 2 years at that position, first round.
Yeah,
you can win you games.
Yeah.
Like you see all these quarterbacks that are good in 7-on-7, but then whenever it starts getting good, like Jared Goff, for instance, and we just talked about the Detroit. Like if Will Levis does have it, and seemingly does, you give that guy time and a run game, so it's like play action can then happen. It's
got Ridley.
And that's all offensive line controlled. That is literally offensive line controlled, and we never talk about it, Lombo. Never talk about the fat boys.
No, but they make a difference. And let me add one more layer to it. You bad lines don't travel. Okay, bad offensive lines don't travel. So when you go on the road with a bad line, why did the Cowboys lose road games last year? Because their line couldn't play very well on the road. It becomes a problem. Crowd noise, concentration, all those things. Good line. That's why Detroit's got San Francisco into the fourth quarter. Green Bay was able to play as well as they did out of San Francisco because their line could pass protect decent enough to do it. I just think, to me, when you have a bad line, it becomes problematic when you have to go on the road and try to win in a stadium like Indianapolis or Seattle or those places where you can't hear. And that's why, it's great to draft receivers. Look, the Bengals took Chase over Sewell. I would have taken Sewell. I think Sewell's one of the dominating offensive linemen in all of football. Guy's got Hall of Fame talent, but it's true. He does. He has Hall of Fame talent. And he's playing right tackle. He could easily play left tackle. But the guy's a force if you watch them, he's a force on the field.
He was like 20 when he got drafted.
Oh, yeah.
Like 22 or 23
like his
now.
fifth year,
Yeah, just signed a new deal. Just turned 24 years
Sewell
old.
first rounder, Decker first rounder, Ragnow first rounder. Those are like the best linemen in the NFL right there.
And they're all paid and they all get along.
Exactly.
Like
and they all play good. Even though you get picked in the first round, sometimes we blow first round picks. They're not very good in offensive line, but those three are hits.
I'm blowing them.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to get out of here, Lombo. We can't thank you enough for joining us. Every time we talk to you, we feel
anytime, my man.
Hey, how have you felt about old Bill stopping by the last couple of weeks, man? Obviously, you know him very well.
I love listening to him talk. I love it. And he had Cower on, and I thought it was great. You get all these good. He had Vince Vaughn last week. That show's awesome. Why do we have to wait till Wednesday to get the Vince Vaughn show? Can't they just dump them all in there and I can watch them at one time?
Amen.
I don't know.
Amen.
I don't know what you're referring to right now.
Bad Monkey, because they release it.
Oh, they two at a time. They're trying to get the pop. So this is what happened with the streaming services, and I think Tiger King probably put this one on display more than anybody. So Tiger King was dropped over a weekend, and obviously everybody on earth watched it. Then you talk about it, and I think Tiger King carried on longer than most, but then it's dead. So all that greatness that used to get from like a season, you only get for like one weekend of watching. Like everybody talked about it afterwards. They didn't watch it again. Squid Games, everybody watches it right through, but then you don't talk. So what Apple started doing was they released like morning show, and I think they only got like maybe a 3-day pop out of it, even though it was months and months and millions of dollars. And then they started releasing once a week. And they did it with Ted Lasso as well. So what we pleaded for was like, can we at least get two? Like binging is the thing. Like, so when you only put one out, you're kind of doing a TV model. That's all it is. So 2 a week, I think, is like kind of them meeting in the middle. I think that is kind of like a meet in the middle for the backlash from we can't binge, and that's the entire fucking selling point of this thing. But them also being like, well, we would like this to last more than 2 days. Yeah. So I think that's a meet in the middle. But 3 would be, I think 3 would be the.
Just release them all.
Yeah, but then it's over.
I know the strategy.
That is why they
strategy.
wanted to dominate conversation for 8 weeks, as opposed to everyone talks about it the first weekend.
More people
then
hear about it over that 8 week.
Nothing dominates for that long, especially in this time, except the NFL.
Yeah, you're right. I guess each individual week drop will be judged.
Bingo.
Do I have to watch it? Do I not have to watch it? And then you move along. So they'll figure it out, but we're in a great era. Let's remember, great era.
Yeah.
Bad
yeah.
Monkey, movie quality TV series coming out with Vince Vaughn.
Amen.
So good.
2 a week. Let's get to 3. Let's get to 3 a week.
So good.
So 3 a week, I really hope. And I might be able to watch more than like 2 shows a year because I won't lose interest because I'm not waiting
Well, look,
week.
we're getting at the time of the year, Pat, where we only have Tuesday, Wednesday to really watch anything.
Amen.
Amen. I mean, that's wife and I know that
I mean,
too.
that's it. You got Tuesday, Wednesday. That's all you got. I mean, so if you can't put it, I mean, because I got football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
What?
You know.
And I think Jacksonville State has a couple games on like Wednesday nights too.
Yeah,
this
later in
upcoming
the
year.
year.
And they
Action.
are. You need to watch
later in the year.
State, yeah. All right, you're the man, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Lombardi.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
Oh, he's talking Bad Monkey.
Yeah.
I didn't know what he was referring to. I'm like, whoa, what are we talking about? Let's get that. I know why we got to wait till Wednesday. It was like, I thought he was talking about him coming to our show on Wednesday. It was like, well, he's supposed to be on Thursday. Then they moved it to Friday, and we thought he was never going to come on the show. Vince Vaughn, that is. And then he came on. He was fantastic.
It's unbelievable.
Awesome. That promo on Team Sports.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Ohio guy. I mean, we should have known.
Yeah, my father, grew up in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be talking to an Ohioan here on the other side, and AJ Hawk. I'll be excited to gather his thoughts on Matthew Judon's kind of turnaround on the entire situation. Because if he would have said that with the Patriots, is there ever
Well, it seems like he did, because that's why the broken heart thing.
So he goes off practice that day.
Yeah.
Then they talk that night, and Judon's like, all right, I get it. Goes back the next day, and then Elliot Wolf and May are like, he says he gets it, but does he?
Too late.
Yeah,
You made your bet. And he started with the practice, really. Like, if you go back to the unpadded practices, practicing the whole time, pads come on, that situation happens. He goes back out to practice, and then by then it was like, you know what?
The damage is done.
Let's get a pick for this guy.
We got rookies that are seeing this happen.
Guys on 1-year deals.
Can't have it.
That decided to come back.
That was their decision.
Is he going to make a difference in the end?
Are we going to win a Super Bowl this year? Let's
Bingo.
look around. Let's
Yeah.
look at each other. Can we get a
No.
third for this?
Let's be realistic here.
Judon, too. We could say we're doing it right by him, too, because, the whole situation.
And then if the Falcons don't pay him, hey, Falcons are screwing up.
Which we already know.
They will.
Because everything that.
They might.
There. Thank you.
I mean, Bill said it yesterday, they got a lot of money out now,
They do have a lot of money out, so that means you got to win in the very near future.
which they definitely can.
The conversation about Artie Smith's head coaching run down there, the way Bill laid it out, had some quarterback
To say the least.
questions, to say the least. They were in games. How many games they won? I think 9 games or something. I forget the
7 all 3
yeah.
years. 7 and 10, 7 and 10.
Yeah, winning 7 games with that team, but what they were able to do, not a lot of resources. Who was their offensive weapon, too, other than Patterson was a good player for sure, but he was the running back, wide receiver, kick returner, punt returner. He was the only player you heard about. So, like, Bill Belichick has obviously studied that team, studied everything on that team.
Likes Artie.
Yeah, and was like, you know what, this guy Artie, he did a lot more. Nobody's really giving this guy. I know I'm up for the job now because this guy got fired, but I don't know how this guy was able to pull this off. And now Artie's just back to being offense coordinator, loving his life in Pittsburgh with that mustache. Is he going to be able to get it going up there? We shall see.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take some time. Obviously, the O-line, it's a new scheme. Artie's a zone-based scheme versus what they were running with Matt Canada. So it's going to take some time, but I trust that Artie will eventually get it figured out.
What teams are just going to be absolute shit? There's those teams are going to happen.
I mean, several of them.
I think we know some. I think we got a few on the wall.
Oh.
I mean, Dan Jones and the Giants. I'm sorry, but
Oh, come on.
how can you not bring that up, Bruce? How can you not? I mean, great D-line, though. That D-line's going to keep them in game.
And Dayball is the best Dayball we've seen.
Yeah,
Amen.
He had some bad passes, but it's some good ones, too.
Yeah, 2 bad plays, wants him back.
Yeah.
You got good action, live reps, boss. That's what we're looking for. Speaking of live reps, we'll continue to do those on the other side with AJ Hawk and Schefter. What does he know?
Before I get started, is there any way you can make some noise for the greatest on the mic in every city we go, Samantha Herbert? It is an honor to be in the home of the Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers. Sunrise has been magical, and tonight will actually be my last Raw for about 4 months or so. It's all good. I can't thank you enough for making this incredible night even better than it could ever fathom to be. I want to say some thank yous. Can you all help me out? So when I say, I just want to say, will you guys say, thank you? Okay, let's practice. I just want to say, to the ring crew that sets up this place every single night for everybody to enjoy the shit out of the show, I just want to say, to the people in the truck in the back that cut all the cameras here across the world, I just want to say, to the makeup crew that helps me look presentable on television and everybody else, I just want to say, to the superstars in the back that lay their life on the line for the good of our entertainment and for being so welcoming to me and all of my dumbassness, I just want to say, to the people in Gorilla with their big-ass brains who have shaped this industry for decades and decades for being so incredibly kind to me, I just want to say, to the TVL boys, the TV locker room, thank you for being so nice, hanging out, sharing some gummies, maybe some combos. I just want to say, to Michael Cole, you're the greatest of all time. Thank you for making me look much better and smarter than I'll ever be. Working alongside of you has been a dream come true. I've been watching you on TV since before I was born. You old bastard, you're only getting better. I just want to say, into the WWE Universe, you all are the best. I just want to say, I'll see you in January. I love you. Goodbye.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
Why?
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers,
You pink.
damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Sports Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. Hour 2 of the program starts now. Football is the greatest, and there's a lot to talk about, so let's dive in. The Toxic Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, Tone Diggs back in his high chair.
Okay.
How we done?
Fresh out of Hammer, Dahn. It is great to see you all, the boys in the back, absolutely crushing it. And joining us now, live from an attic in Ohio, is a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, a Ryder Cup winner. Ladies and gentlemen, the former president of Ohio, the all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, AJ Hall.
Hawker.
How you doing, Hawker?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Dude, life is great, especially because, like, we're heading to Ireland here, just 2 days.
Crazy.
Yes, we are.
And then there's an actual college game day.
Yeah.
Nuts.
And then there's actual college football game. Big one.
Yeah.
ACC, big one. Georgia
Big
Tech,
time.
Florida State. That's a big game. You know, could you imagine? Now, obviously going to be in Ireland, going to be in Dublin. The Aer Lingus College Football Classic, lad, I believe is what they were going to call it. They dropped the lad off the off the graphic. I don't know how
Should've kept it.
that was kind of lost in the entirety of it all. But it's like Georgia Tech, end of the year last year. You see the way they play with the quarterback returning, who the entire team loves. They got an Irish kicker too, you know, so I don't want to say like going to have Georgia Tech fans, but there's probably going to be some very big support. And, the universe works in magical ways. If sports universe works in magical ways, it's like if Florida State struggles with Georgia Tech early, it'll be held over their head for the entirety of the season.
Yep.
Not saying it's fair, okay? And obviously you can win your way in to the 12-team playoff, and that is a beautiful thing that could take place. If you win your championship, you're automatically in. It isn't just humans' decisions on who's the best teams and who isn't, and 4 only. So Florida State can't get, screwed again if they go undefeated, even though it was a third-string quarterback. We saw the playoff. It all worked out how it was supposed to.
Right.
I understand that. But if I was from you guys' perspective, I'd be pissed as well.
No doubt.
I was on the team. I would be furious as well through it all. But it's like Florida State is very good. Florida State is reloaded. Norvell is a phenomenal coach. That is why he got the Florida State gig. And what he was able to build at Memphis, everybody's like, well, if he's able to do that at Florida State, they're going to have sustained success for a long time. Last year, a lot of success. This year, let's assume that sustained success means, again, it's going to take place. So they could win by a lot. This could be a close one. Georgia Tech could pull out a win.
Absolutely.
Week 1 in Ireland. Everybody could be tight. Everybody could be loose. I mean, it's like we're just a few days away from that, AJ. It is awesome to think about.
And I think anyone that woke up in the Midwest this morning too, I know Tone alluded to it earlier, it felt like we should be out there at the pumpkin patch. We feel like we are in the middle of the fall right now. The leaves are about to change. This is football season, man. And I don't know where everybody is, but I believe this Friday, high school football starts in Ohio as well.
Wow.
We're finally here.
Yeah. Last Friday, Florida started, I believe, or at least parts of Florida, South Florida. More specifically, Teddy Bridgewater led his team onto the field. He's the head coach at his high school. He looks awesome as a coach. And people forget about Teddy Bridgewater whenever he was in his run before he got injured due to a non-contact injury during training camp, I think it was.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be MVP. We're talking MVP conversation. To talk about a potential historic career being derailed by injury, Teddy Bridgewater is somebody you can just drop right into that conversation. What he was doing with 2 gloves on with the Minnesota Vikings, how he was handling himself, what they were doing. I mean, he was now he's coaching his high school, and he's got the boys humming.
Oh, yeah.
Good program.
I didn't see anything from the other team, so I don't know if they shut the other team out or not, but it looked like the team wearing yellow that Teddy is coaching is going to be a problem all damn year.
Yeah, there's a little 10-minute documentary about the high school he's coaching. I believe it's Miami Northwestern or Miami, something along those lines, and they have junkyard dogs at that school.
I assume the history of that place creating NFLers is pretty big.
Yeah.
I love the entrance. I loved everything about it. Now, obviously, football in different places is a big deal. Ohio, starting this Friday, is massive. I assume Pittsburgh. Do we know when? Plum?
I would assume this Friday as well.
Okay, so
Mustangs take the field this Friday.
Mustangs take the field this Friday. Hey, let's go Mustangs. We're all Mustangs here.
Yes, we are Mustangs.
We're all Mustangs here. Centerville takes on St. X.
Is it St. X week 1?
Uh-oh. I don't know if it's week 1, but I believe it is again because we know.
Ooh, the Herbies.
Yeah, the signal caller.
One of our friends' boys.
Yeah.
Is taking snaps for the Bombers senior campaign.
It's a good program.
Boy.
Taking on the Centerville Elks.
Whoa.
Of A.J. Hawk, Mangold, the Cash brothers, obviously notorious.
His
Centerville Elks.
His daddy's alma mater.
Oh, my. Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you worried? How are the Centerville Elks going to be this year?
I think they're going to be all right. Brent Ullery at the helm is the head coach. I played with Brent. His dad was the coach for a long time as well. Yeah, I think they're going to be good.
You would like to make the announcement about how many games you're going back to this year, and I appreciate you mentioning that earlier.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hopefully, yeah. When we get back from going to different places on Friday, I'll jet right back to Centerville for the home games, hopefully.
That's very kind of you to commit to at least 3 games this year for the Centerville Elks.
That's the Elk way.
You're a good guy, AJ.
Elk pride. Elk pride.
Elk it up.
Go Elks!
Stangs got Franklin on Friday for their home opener.
Oh, tough team.
Yeah, but the Stangs, I mean,
we can win.
They're buzzing this year.
Yeah, the boys got some great fits. Okay.
I saw you got the boys some guardian caps.
Yeah, they got guardian caps. Protection. Hey, this is the future. This is
Man,
the
I would have
future.
loved that.
So there was a need. Love. Okay, got it. But if it wasn't for everything that happened between your ears.
I am who I am because of those concussions.
Bingo. And we need to remember that.
Thank you, concussions.
Yeah, we need to keep an eye on it, but we need to certainly remember that. I believe Nonnenberg's boy
is that right?
Is quarterbacking.
Signal caller?
I believe.
Well, he better come out slinging.
Johnny, I guess he had 3 tuds this past weekend in scrimmage against whoever we were playing.
Now
I saw film.
talking.
I was sent film
Let's go.
We might have a guy.
Now we're talking.
Hey, John, let's go, cuz. You're built for it.
Hell yeah.
Ready for it? John's been around, sports and my life since he is tiny. If he's the quarterback of the Plum Mustangs now.
Stangs up.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, and anything you guys need this year, let's remember to utilize said fund. Don't let your dad, keep any of this out of there, His dad, favorite teacher I had. Miss Anilovich, Mr. Nonnenberg.
Miss
Brooke, yep.
Miss Brooke,
of course.
5th grade.
God rest her soul.
Miss you, Miss Brooke.
Miss Brooke was attacked by a monkey at one particular time.
No, that was her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Miss Brooke.
She survived, though, right?
No, ripped her head off.
No,
she got torn up.
Ripped her spine right out. Monkey
It's
had
like a Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
fatality.
Yeah, finish her.
I would like to say Miss Brooke and Mr. Gregory are potentially the 2 greatest 5th grade teachers on earth, okay? Because my backpack that was loaded with Newport cigarettes.
Sure.
Menthol?
White and green.
Mixed in there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, those are menthols, yep.
White and green.
Yep.
In my backpack on the cubby. Whenever you hit your name, put the backpack
You gotta
there.
hang it up. Yeah, when you hang your bag up, that's where everyone else wasn't hanging their cigs up. It was just you.
Mine was in my backpack. I thought I had it all figured out.
Is it sticking out of the top of your back?
Yeah, zipped up to the tip of it.
Yeah, it was completely caught. Now, I did not see them open the backpack and find it because I was already in the principal's office because I already got narked off by Stephanie, who was over by the dumpsters.
Steph.
Yeah, Stephanie. Yep. I'll never forget it.
Snitching Steph.
I thought that was
You should have told me you planted in your backpack.
Well, the whole. I mean, it was hard to say that. I had a carton. I mean,
Who put the carton in there?
Yeah, it was
Name and Sharpie written on it.
Miss Brooke had to deal with that on that particular day. And then Mr. Gregory was actually one of the voices of reason after Sally McAfee had to come in there and be like, basically saying they wanted to send me that was back whenever they were doing the boot camp reality TV show shit.
Oh yeah.
They were like,
Scared straight. They wanted to send you scared straight.
yeah, because this was obviously not the first time I had been potentially
Say
involved.
5th grade.
Yeah.
Say 5th grade. So you were 10 probably.
Yeah, and I was young for my grade too. So
Who were you selling to though? Who were all the? I know you had cigarette butts too. You would sell. Who bought them?
That's how it started.
Janitors,
Started
teachers,
No.
teachers. Yeah, anyone who would buy,
I was
brother.
not selling
Dr.
to adults.
Prosopia.
I was moving to high schoolers though. I mean, I was.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to say one of the plugs, but I became quickly. I mean, it was all getting out of control pretty quick, but as soon as I got to the carton phase of it all, I really knew that was my first ever carton though. Did get busted with it. But to get to the carton, obviously, whenever you're getting them for 25 cents a pop, selling them for 50 cents.
Sure.
Then you get grape juice extras, which is what it all started with. It all started with I just wanted these grape juice extra, the little cup with the metal, the tin foil over top of it, the grape juice.
Oh, yeah. It was good.
So good. I guess I loved it. So that's where it started. Got a bud off of one of the neighbors' mom's ashtrays that we were in. Shout out to Christy and her mom. We were in her house. She had a trampoline too, which was fantastic.
Nice.
Some of my wrestling came from Christy's backyard in there. Very nice down the street. Take the cigarette, had lipstick on it. Lipstick on.
Upsell.
Yeah.
Cig.
75 cents for that one.
Walk right up to the elementary school woods where everybody would hang out at. I got gold here. I need it. 50 cents.
Wait, whose lipstick's on that? Yeah, I want it.
Yeah. Well, the lipstick I was holding it by, they didn't notice till they got it. They did not care. And then all of a sudden, a business was born.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it was like, wait a minute. And obviously, it's not great to be doing that to. But I feel like those high schoolers that I was selling cigs to would have found them one way or the other. Yeah. And the fact that I got grape juice, I was buying them too.
Yeah, dishing them out. Yeah. Just the power of the carton.
My mom really had to go to bat for me, though. I mean, they were trying to send my ass. They were trying to send my ass fucking gone.
Virginia.
She was like, should we not? This kid is a menace.
Send him overseas
Is JT Bourne's a smoking bar?
Dr. Peshkopia. Dr.
Peshkopia?
Yeah, he was the principal. He was about fed up with me.
Dr. P, yeah.
Yeah, he was tough there. Yeah, that was fun. But my mom had to go to bat for me very heavily. And then Mr. Gregory saved me pretty much. He was like, maybe we should view this as a positive.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, entrepreneur.
Yeah, but I didn't get much shit after that. Middle school, there was a little bit of that, but boy, yeah, that's where it all started. But Miss Brooke, it was in her room. So
miss you.
Rest in peace, Miss Brooke. Well, Mr. Nonnenberg's boy might be leading the Mustangs.
Yeah, I fully expect him to.
Also, RIP that paramedic, because when that orangutan ripped her spine out and took it and slit that paramedic's throat, too.
Like it was a spear.
Yeah.
Yep.
None of this is true. Miss Brooke missed a few weeks because she did get attacked by.
Okay, so she did go. That did happen.
Yes.
Yes.
Somebody was attacked from a pet monkey that they had.
Yeah.
I don't remember which monkey it was. I don't remember which style of monkey.
Yeah. Well, didn't they execute it on the front yard in front of everybody? Get on your knees, monkey. And they just shot it.
Who did that? The firemen?
Yeah.
Fire people?
I don't know if firemen
Sliced
are.
its head off with an axe.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
hosed
they
it
carried those
down.
axes.
I don't know.
Put a hole in its chest with a fire hose.
Listen, the Plum FD, okay, the Plum Fire Department. I don't know if they just want to walk around
VFD.
beheading orangutans.
Well,
They're trying to save the public. What do you mean? They're public
No,
servants.
but the
They're
Plum
helping
FD would wrestle and pin.
Yep.
You know, what do we
make them tap out.
Yeah.
and make
Brooke
them
was
tap
their
out. And they
favorite
can
teacher.
subdue them and
Yeah,
put
put 'em
some
in.
zip ties
Do
on
it.
them.
Do it. Yeah, who's the alpha?
They love Mrs. Brooke, too. They want a little revenge. Blood for blood.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some other stuff to talk about that is certainly much better than whatever just happened for the last 13 minutes. Joining us live, who is a man who I think legitimately knows everything that's happening all the time, seemingly behind closed doors with the NFL. We're lucky to have him on every single week. Friend of the program, senior insider for ESPN. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Schefter.
Gentlemen, what is going on today?
Shefty, sweet backdrop. You look like you're in a movie. Where are you right now?
I am in DC2 building here at ESPN. We're here for the Fantasy Football Marathon, and I knew you were calling around this time, so I'm like, well, where am I going to get set up? Usually, you're trying to figure this out, and there's a little area in the back of a building. I just sat down, and I don't know, this is what came about, so it looks pretty good.
It's a beautiful backdrop right now with your blue suit, too, with the baby blue, with the sky behind you. Looks like a wonderful day up there in Connecticut. DC2 is the building you're in. How close is it to that? Yeah, pop the collar. How close is that to the cafe? I was at the cafe for the college football conference. I don't think I realized how vast that campus is. That place is big. A lot of buildings, a lot of humans. Where's that building in comparison to the cafe, which is they got chefs on deck.
Excuse me?
Good chefs. We're talking good chefs.
Super Chef Bobby Flay?
I don't think Super Chef Bobby Flay is there.
I did not hear what you said there.
Oh, excuse me.
Better than Bobby Flay. These people would beat Bobby Flay.
Damn.
Yeah, better than Guy Fieri, too, with his prices.
Guys in some heat.
Have you had his chicken
Guys'
tenders?
prices. But the chefs in this place, real deal. We're talking fits,
Oh, okay.
orders,
The whole
a lot
thing.
of options
Big hats?
right in front of you. I didn't see any big hats.
Big fires? Are they
Name
putting-
tags. I mean, we're talking.
Hibachi?
It was beautiful up there. Well, how close are you to the cafe, and have you been through there?
Well, I just came from there. I just walked there from there to here right now. It's about a probably 6, 7, 8 minute walk.
Whoa.
More important, are there chefs in the Thunderdome? Does the Thunderdome have chefs?
Well, Schefter, we wanted to hire a chef. Actually, put out a bird call to chefs saying, "Hey, $100,000 full-time chef. All we need is breakfast and post-show snacks. That's all we need.
Simple.
Breakfast, post-show snacks. If you could keep it healthy, you would help us all out. And also, we won't have 13 DoorDash cars coming through here 3 times a day and all of that." So, we thought about that, got a lot of great entries, investigated a lot of people, looked into a lot of people, tried some people's food without them really even knowing us, going to restaurants, because there were some restaurant chefs here in town that were like, "Hey, we would definitely come do that." Turns out, building code, can't build a kitchen.
Yeah. Don't have an oven.
So we don't even have an oven here. We can't even have an oven here. So got to look into that shit first, Shefty. You see, with the way we operate, you don't always catch all the things. Some things slip through the cracks. Like, can hire a chef, don't have anywhere to cook.
Sure.
So,
Well, you know what I would say, Pat? Put a chef on the bus and make a designated area on the bus, the kitchen.
listen,
and
we're
then-
not smoking out my bus with some great pork sausage.
That's not a bad
And you know what?
Yeah.
No, then it becomes a food truck too.
That's the play. Food truck is the play outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep them away from
that?
us.
Yeah, but then, it doesn't feel as if, hey, aren't you supposed to,
Hey, get back to your truck, old man.
Bingo. So that's all been anyways, let's move to the NFL. We appreciate your brainstorming. If you have any other ideas for how you could potentially get a chef into a place that can't cook anything, we want to hear it moving forward. Speaking of what we want to hear, Judon situation here is what we've been chatting about, strictly because the Hassan Reddick situation that's taken place, the Aiyuk situation situation that's taking place. And the reason why we're here is because he won a new contract. Now he's at a new place, which would be similar to kind of both of those situations. Hassan Reddick, obviously, post-trade, Aiyuk potentially beforehand. How did this come to be? Everybody in Atlanta knew this was going to be the case with Judon. Did Judon agree to do this similar type of thing with New England before he left? Like, how do we get to this point? And are the Atlanta Falcons doing everything perfectly, seemingly, with recruiting of vets and players that they're looking for?
They had a great week last week. You go out and trade for Matt Judon, you get that done for a third-round pick, and you go out and sign Justin Simmons. Their defense got better overnight. Now, Judon, obviously, the issue there has been the contract, just like Hassan Reddick. And I think that when Atlanta trades for him, there are enough conversations where basically you know that there's an understanding that you want to get somebody extended and you want to move forward with that deal. And the Falcons want to, and I believe they will, sign Matthew Judon. And he said the absolute perfect thing yesterday. I saw you put up the quote on your show earlier about the fact that, hey, I'm not worried about the contract or at least getting that done. They have to get to know me. But they knew what they were getting when they traded for him. They knew the situation. And again, I would think that they're going to figure this out. And this, unfortunately, is how the Jets situation with Hassan Reddick should have gone for both sides, where Reddick gets the deal he wants, the Jets get the player they want. It didn't work out like that. But there's been open communication here. I think there's an understanding, and I think Matthew Judon goes in there, says all the right things, and eventually that results in a new deal that gets done in Atlanta.
Well, congrats to the hospitality and seemingly good business taking place there. Patriots fans are obviously, a little bit bummed out about maybe it not taking the same exact path in New England, but they're in a new era. So is Atlanta, seemingly. And Justin Simmons, what he said about the dinner that they had in the recruiting and how it all went. Congrats to Atlanta, seemingly getting it all worked out. Now, there's other cities that need to get shit worked out as well. AJ has a question for you.
Shefty, obviously, it seems like every time you're on, obviously, we're talking about Brandon Aiyuk out in San Francisco. You may be fielding some texts about Aiyuk right now. Is there what's the latest developments with him, and where do you see this thing ending up?
Well, they were off yesterday, so there was no practice in the building. No players were not there. Today they go back, and we are now under 3 weeks away from the regular season opener to where the 49ers are hosting the New York Jets. Now, the 49ers know that they need Brandon Aiyuk out there. He's made a lot of plays for them over time. He has had a great run, and they want to get the deal done. They've made him multiple offers to try to keep him. But for whatever reason, that deal hasn't gotten done, and that has allowed other teams to enter the fray with trade conversations. And so I think we're at the point now where we're going to start to get a push here to see how this winds up, how it's resolved. And I think the 49ers would like to keep him, want to keep him. I still think that's the more likely scenario, but to think that there's any likely scenario of this particular situation would be a mistake, because there was a time when I thought, okay, it sounds like he's going to be traded to Cleveland. And then there was a time where I thought, well, it sounds like he's going to be traded to New England. And then there was a time I thought, okay, he's going to be traded to Pittsburgh. And then I thought there was a time he's re-signing with San Francisco. And here we are on,
20th.
Tuesday, August 20th, and nothing is still done. Nothing. And I just think that everybody is at the point where they know they need to get resolution, whatever that is, right? So they're running out of time, because if he's going to be playing opening weekend, which you would think he would be, whether that's in San Francisco or Pittsburgh or Cleveland or wherever, it's time to get back on the practice field, and it's time to start gearing up for the opener wherever you're going to play. And then there's the business at hand. If he's going back on the practice field, why would you go back on the practice field to get ready for an opener if your deal's not getting done, wherever that is, whether that's in San Francisco or you agreeing to a trade to another place? So I just think we're entering here a important time for Brandon Aiyuk, where I think at some point this week there'll be activity here, and we'll see what that leads to.
Okay, some sort of activity. I like that, because there's been a lot of activity, and then there was some fugazi activity seemingly from it all. And you just said that, you feel like the most likely at this particular point is for him to go back to the Niners. Is it as, I don't want to say volatile, because that seemingly has a negative connotation. Is it as random of an outcome right now as it has been over the last couple of weeks on what the hell happens here?
I think it is, Pat. Like I said to you, I said
No.
Jeez.
I said to you today that I think that that's the most likely outcome. But I'm just telling you at various points, I would have thought the most likely outcome would have been him being traded to Cleveland or to Pittsburgh or New England.
Wow.
And so the most likely outcomes shift on an almost daily basis. How this unfolds in the end, we're all waiting to see. Again, today, the outcome that makes sense, whatever that means, is going back to San Francisco. But there's a lot of things that don't make sense here. So it's hard to predict exactly how it's going to go. Here's what we do know. I think he would like to be in San Francisco. We know he wants to be paid.
Okay.
And we know the 49ers want to keep him. So if all that is there,
Come on a wedding day, there had to be
all
a
the
little.
elements are there, it shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard to get to the point where you figure out what it's going to take to get it across the finish line, get the guy under contract. Here you see the top paid wide receivers heading into the season, the average annual salary. It's not hard to slot him in here, right? Like I would think somewhere between Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill, right in that range. 30, 28, 29, whatever that number is, it's going to be right in there, and get the deal done, wherever it is. Re-sign in San Francisco or agree to move on. But we're under 3 weeks, and it's time to figure it out because you got to practice, and I don't think you want to step onto the practice field without a new contract.
Yeah, and, wide receiver and quarterback relationships are obviously a massive ordeal, and the sooner we see him back on a football field, we'll all be happy because we think he's a dog as a player. And there's a lot of fan bases that want him. If he goes back to San Fran, signs a deal, the locker room will be very pumped to have him back. Mm-hmm. Fans will be pumped to have him back. If he signs somewhere else, fans will be pumped to have him. It's a win-win, but let's get to it, is what Schefter is seemingly saying. We agree on a lot of these things. What separates us is much smaller than what brings us together here, T.
Sure.
We put our swords aside for just a matter of moments. You want to be here, we want you here. You want money, we want to give you money. Mm-hmm. Let's figure this whole thing out. We'll be able to.
Not hard.
So let's talk about the Trent Williams situation, because that might make it a little bit harder, right? Because they don't know how much they're going to have to allot to him. So they don't know how much money they have to potentially give to Aiyuk, or are these two separate operations? And I know, like, offensive line, and especially with Trent, and I'll quote Robert Saleh when he was talking about Hassan Reddick. We know that Trent's working hard. We know that Trent has been a very good football player for a long time.
Pro's pro.
We know he's bro's pro. We know he'll be ready whenever he comes back here, which is what Coach Saleh said about Hassan Reddick before the mandatory OTAs, which he was unexcused, also known as inexcused for, alongside Aaron Rodgers. Now Hassan Reddick went out. But with Trent, we know he's going to be in shape. We know even if Trent wasn't in shape, he'd probably still be top tackle in the entire NFL. Not as much worry because he's an offensive lineman, or what are you hearing here, and how does one affect the other?
Well, I think one does affect the other because I think the 49ers have been consumed with trying to resolve the Brandon Aiyuk situation. And with all the manpower, brain power, time, and resources that have been allocated to figuring out the Brandon Aiyuk situation, I almost feel like Trent Williams, in this particular case, everybody feels like they'll figure out a way to get this done when they need to. He's a 36-year-old guy. I mean, again, I think we're at a point now where you want to start getting everybody back into camp. And it's one more reason to get the Aiyuk situation resolved so they could then devote their time and energy to figuring out the Trent Williams situation. But you got to get Aiyuk done first, and then they can go on to Trent Williams. I mean, I guess you can go sign Trent Williams first if this goes on. You have to get that done anyway, but it just feels like their time and energy has been spent on one player.
All right. Well,
Largely.
San Francisco 49ers, you guys will figure it out.
Yeah, good luck.
That's what the Niners do, baby. That's what the Niners do. A lot of other shit to figure out as well. Connor's got a question for you.
Yeah, Schefty, with you saying that Aiyuk's falling between that 28 to 30 range, what do you think about Jamar Chase and CD Lamb? Obviously, Jamar still has 2 years left on his deal, and he's at the Bengals facility participating but not actually practicing. What do you think about those two deals, and when should we expect those to get done, and will those get done before the season?
Look, those are the three real big questions right now. Brandon Aiyuk, CD Lamb, and Jamar Chase. Now, CD Lamb, again, I think the two sides aren't that far apart on a deal. I don't think it should be that difficult, but again, it's Monday, August 20th. He's still not there, still hasn't gone through camp, so this has not gone the way that everybody expected. But my understanding is the two sides aren't all that far apart, and somehow, some way, I and others believe that they will figure out a way to bridge their differences so that CD Lamb will be there for week 1. Now, the question becomes, okay, he's there for week 1, but he didn't go through training camp. His conditioning level won't be exactly what you want it to be. Are you at risk for some type of muscle strain, which you hope doesn't happen? But this is what comes along with sitting out time during training camp. But I still think that they find a way to figure that out. CD Lamb's got 1 year left in his contract. Dallas has wanted to pay him. Brandon Aiyuk has got 1 year left on his contract. San Francisco wants to pay him. And that's where the difference comes in with Ja'Marr Chase. Ja'Marr Chase has got 2 years left on his contract. And he's got 2 years left on his contract for a team in which the president, Mike Brown, already has come out and said he doesn't believe that this is the right time for an extension, that he would prefer to wait. Now, I think the team would like to get this deal done. Clearly, Ja'Marr Chase is an incredible receiver. He's very valuable to that team. And we'll see if they can figure out a way. But this one is a little bit more complicated than the others because he's got more time on his deal, because we have a franchise that hasn't been as enthusiastic about as engaging in contract extension discussions. And in this one, like we've gotten a glimpse of what Brandon Aiyuk is feeling all along. Like he's been on podcasts, he's posted on social media. Ja'Marr Chase hasn't talked to reporters there at all since the season ended. That tells you something without saying anything. He hasn't spoken during training camp. He's not really posting messages on social media. We don't know exactly what he's thinking. But I'm going to assume, and I don't think it's far off, that he's not real happy with the way that things are going, considering that he's scheduled to make $1 million in base salary. He gets a 3-8 roster bonus, so he's scheduled to make $4.8 million this year. Jeez. Now, Chad Ochocinco over the weekend said, and I don't disagree, he doesn't believe that Ja'Marr Chase will step on the football field again until he has a new contract because there's just too much at risk. Now, he also thinks that a deal could get done this week, which would mean that the two sides would be able to bridge the differences that have existed throughout the course of the offseason, and they would recognize that the season's closing in and that they would be able to get a deal done with Chase. I just think there's a lot here that has flown under the radar that makes it complicated and sticky with Ja'Marr Chase.
I appreciate all the detail there into the Ja'Marr Chase situation. And whenever Chad Ochocinco, who we all have massive respect for and is obviously plugged in a lot of places to players and teams, whenever he says he's not going to step foot on the field until he gets a new deal, with his deal only being $4.8 million max or whatever, the fines aren't that big, right? Well, you're going to get fined a game check. It's like, all right, well, people are getting.
He's also on his rookie. He's also on his rookie contract, and the fines can be waived on a rookie contract.
And also, there's $34 million a year coming on the other side.
Yeah.
So if you're going to fine me $250,000 over the first,
fine me.
Yeah, fine me.
And you're also talking about a guy who in college sat out an entire season because he also knew the business at hand. He was savvy and smart enough to recognize his value and didn't want to do anything to risk it.
Yeah, we wish he would have played in college because that would have been awesome to watch, obviously. He is so good at the football. It ended up working out. And remember in his first training camp, he wasn't catching the ball.
Yeah.
And people are like, this guy sat out. He forgot how to play football. And Joe and him are like, everybody fucking relax.
Yeah.
And then
the white stripes
NFL
on the
ball,
football.
yeah.
And then what do you have, a touchdown every week?
Pretty much.
His rookie year, it was just like, took a year off, worried about business, picked right up where he left off, became one of the best wide receivers in the league, which is why he's seeing what everybody else is getting. And he said, so I'm getting $1 million base salary this year?
No.
And this team's getting 35? You got 2 years left, too. This is on you. Well, it seems like this is going to be on you. I hope they get it sorted because Joey B seems to have a little bit of a little revenge season feel kind of
cool
going.
Hair.
And cool hair, mindset, him talking with Ja'Marr, and then everything else they got going over there. Why not the Bengals back in the AFC? T's there for one last year, too, one last hurrah. Why not the Bengals? They need to figure that whole thing out. Hopefully they're able to do that. Speaking of figuring things out, saw a quarterback back in the building. Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Schefter, we're talking about how little time it is to the regular season, but still 16 days. It feels like Justin Herbert being back at practice with 16 days before the opening kickoff is a good sign after that plantar fascia injury or whatever we're calling it was. Do we have any worry about Justin Herbert going into week one?
No, he's tracking to play against the Raiders in week one, and he is expected to be ready. Now, the question is, will he be limited in his mobility in any kind of way? He came out of the boot, was back at practice. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know right there. He's going to be out there, and this is a guy that has played through torn rib cartilage in the past. This is a guy that's played through a lot of injuries. He's really tough. He's playing opening day. He's not playing opening day. The question is, can he run around? Can he do the types of things that he's done regularly throughout the past? But in terms of his availability, he will be available in week 1.
Okay, that's big news. Is Harbaugh going to be available for more press conferences than everybody else? Because I would like to hear him have to speak more.
Yep.
He's unbelievable, right?
Yes.
I'll say this. We had the occasion at the owners' meetings to sit down with John and Jim Harbaugh together for about 40 minutes. And we're going to play that before Monday Night Football this year. Pat, they were off the charts together.
Yeah, we were across the hall. If you do recall, we were across the hall.
Yeah,
and we saw
off the charts.
We saw you
That's
guys.
right.
We saw you guys go in for it, and then we saw you guys come out. And the amount of jocularity on the way out, it was like, oh, that must have been a good time.
Tackled you.
That must be. Yeah, Harbaugh was telling me about the
Hip drop.
the hip drop tackle, and I was like, so how do you feel about the hip drop tackle being banned? He's like, oh, needed to be banned. And it's like, wow, you're the first football person I've really heard say that. And he reenacted what we just can't have this. And then he grabs me, huge dude, and then just throws his body on me. He's like, see, can't have that. And I'm like, and then he goes, this is okay. This is okay, but it's this
one
that is really, and he's doing it to me actually in the hallway. First time ever, like really getting tackled, I guess, by Harbaugh, but also like I'm so happy he's back in the NFL.
Huge.
And if they have success, that'll be a lot of fun to follow. Speaking of fun to follow, how about Fanatics Fest? Ty has a question for you, Schefter.
Yeah, Schefter, talking about limited mobility with Herbert, what's your mobility looking like going into week 1? Obviously, we all saw the footage that captivated the internet. You running the 40 and kind of eating shit. You were inches away from getting folded in half like a lawn chair, falling onto that crash pad. How's the body feeling? And obviously, you dusted Rich Eisen. So,
congratulations.
How you feeling overall after this? I mean, that's a great athletic feat that you accomplished.
And it
there.
was your hamstring or just your athleticism that gave out at the end here?
I mean, that could
sniper!
keep that
wide, keep that wide, big as possible.
Let me say this. I kicked Rich's ass, but I also kicked my own because when I'm running there, I don't know what happened. I tripped and fell. I had no idea what was coming.
Thank God.
And I face planted, obviously. So I landed on my face. I really landed on my knees. I landed on my knees. And both my knees, the skin's ripped off on them, and they're really bruised. And my hamstrings are sore. Look, here's the deal. A 57-year-old man should not spontaneously be running a 40-yard dash and being as determined as I was to beat the king of the 40-yard dash, Rich Eisen. Like, he's trained for this every year to raise money for St. Jude, and he's been unbelievable about raising all this money. But he's become known as the king of the 40, and I wanted to dethrone him that day and kick his ass. And I feel like I did. But
And
I
you
kicked my
did.
own too.
And you did. And you did. Now, Rich looks phenomenal. Being able to stride out like that at both your guys' age, you should feel very, very proud of. Like, I was watching that, thinking of my knees, my hamstrings, maybe hip flexor that I just ripped in there. And you guys dressed up like casual suits doing that for 40 yards. Nothing but respect. Just want to let you full sellout, nothing but respect. I thought you blew your hamstring out there. You just tripped and fell on the line.
I just tripped. I don't know what happened. I don't know. All of a sudden, I felt myself crashing. I was so, I was so determined to get to that finish line, and I think I just took a wrong step and just fell right on my knees. Like, both my knees crashed down before I face planted.
So now you are on team switch to turf. We need grass. Right, because you just felt
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, right there was a perfect example. Like, field turf right there. Now they've got me over to the grass side. I was on that side anyway for player safety, but now I'm in for reporter safety as well.
Yeah, because that's cement under there with just some turf.
Cement. It was cement.
Imagine that pad's not there, Schefty. We're talking front bump,
broken nose,
jaw, neck, maybe,
teeth gone,
everything. Oh yeah, teeth reconstruction, like implants. It would have been the whole thing.
Let's not even talk about the sniffer. The sniffer would be flattened on the face.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Hey, but you sold out there for the people, which we respect. Because
that's all that matters. Hey, all that matters, it doesn't matter that my knees are sore, my hamstring's tight, my knees are scraped up. Like,
you won.
We won. We won. The king of the 40 has been dethroned.
It's Adam Schefter.
Yikes, Rich.
Wow. You need to start doing this. Every time you do you need to do the LeBron James, this thing, every time you do like a news break, just go ahead and, Rich, like I said.
Don't you forget.
And then back to you guys at the desk. Hey, Monday Night Football Countdown should be a blast, huh? You got a chance to work with the crew yet? Have you been around?
Yeah.
How would you feel? Chemistry's high? Jason Kelsey getting added to the mix?
He's a fun guy. He's very popular, and he's going to do a great job for the team this year.
Yeah, and Tone just reminded me, you guys decided to take a trip to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and then found out the boss was going to be there as well and said, wow, we were coming to the great city of Pittsburgh. This place is awesome. And then we find out Bruce Springsteen's here, and then you guys were like, you know what, tonight, let's not do any insiding. Let's put our phones away. Let's put our phones aside. And all the insiders that we've basically ever come to know all sit in the same section of one concert. How'd this come together? And is this is this your thing? Whose thing was this?
No. What happened was Woj texted me or called me about 4 or 5 months ago. And he's
so
like,
Woj can text and call.
Okay.
That is a big piece of information. I thought he was just saying.
Yeah. Yep.
No, that was that.
Yep.
Good weather, baby Woj. Hey, baby Woj.
And so Woj organized this whole trip, and he's like, hey, can you go to Pittsburgh in August for Bruce? And I like Bruce, but I'm like, I'll see. I don't know. And then I was planning O's the Mentalist. I've helped coordinate his travel and trips the last few years. So ESPN wanted to do O's the Mentalist with the Bills and the Eagles. So I called the Eagles, and the Eagles were like, could you do Wednesday, August 14th in Foxborough? We're going to be there scrimmaging the Patriots. We'll have O's perform for our team that morning. I'm like, great. I called the Bills. I'm like, you want O's? Yeah. Could you do it Thursday, August 15th in Pittsburgh? We've got a joint practice with the Steelers. I'm like, when does that ever happen that something goes the way you would want it to go in terms of timing and plan?
Hey, let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
The Bills were going to be in Pittsburgh. So O's performed for the Bills at 6 o'clock last Thursday night. It was unbelievable. It was incredible. Of course. And then I went from the end of that performance, I walked right over to meet all these guys for dinner. People don't realize, like, there's Dusty May, the Michigan basketball coach. We had Will Hardy, the Jazz basketball coach. Matt Tumbleson from the Thunder. Josh Longstaff from the Charlotte Bobcats. Bunch of NBA people. And it was awesome. Sat there in the stands, watched Bruce. He's 74 years old, and I'm going to tell you something. That guy is a marvel. That guy is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the boss doesn't miss. You guys boozing here, or what, are we sober? We phones away, phones out? How was it to be around the screen time kings? You know, like how was it?
It's the first time that all those people ever have gathered in one room at the same time. And, Woj put it all together, and it was a great, memorable night. And, we still got a text chain going, and all the people trading messages and pictures, and it was a fun night.
Was Thamel there with his family and just so happened to be in the same area, or was he with you guys?
No, everybody came solo. Everybody came by themselves and met up there for one concert one night.
Pete's about 30 beers.
It might be a return engagement. Yeah. We're talking about gathering for an REO Speedwagon show or something like that. We'll see.
Were you guys boozing here or no?
Yeah, we were drinking beers. Yeah, we had a few beers at that point in time. It was fun.
I'm buzzed. Yeah, sorry, sue me. We had beers at Bruce Springsteen. Pete Thamel had 4 to 6.
Yeah.
4 to 6 beers.
12 to 14.
2 minutes. Can you imagine Pete drunk?
Look, yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing him right there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Schefty, what a pose. The wave in the photo is such a good move. Jet Passon's full on at a rock show.
Yeah.
We are in the middle of this.
Looks like his chin's on his hand.
Like I framed it. I didn't even know. Like I framed like his face almost. That was not intentional. I had no idea that I was going to do that. But there's Passon's mouth wide open, ready to drink more beer.
Wide.
And I got my hand right there.
Yeah, we love it. Hey, who did take the photo?
Shams.
Rappaport?
Springsteen, I think.
There was, we had Brooke Pryor and Elena Getzenberg, who covers the Bills. They were in the stands. Woj gave them 2 tickets. Woj was like the ticket dispensary that night, and they took a picture of us. We leaned over, and they get the photo credit for that.
How about Woj being the plug, I guess?
Yeah.
How about it?
Howdy, baby. I appreciate it. Okay, you're the man. We can't wait for another NFL season alongside the Schefter train. Good luck with the full-day fantasy fun camp. What's going on?
We're going to say, while I'm on the phone, I will say I did get a text. There's breaking news. My sister-in-law's house is on fire, so I got to get on this right now.
Okay, all right. Jeez, go figure it out, ladies and gentlemen. Call the fire department, ladies and gentlemen. 911. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Schefter. We appreciate it. Shefty's phone is plugged into 911 in 3 different counties.
Yep.
That's how he gets all the scoops.
Yeah, there's breaking news.
Hopefully someone else dialed 911. They didn't text Schefter, hey, Schefter, can you
Text Schefter, tell him to call 911 now.
So the other day I was in a situation where I thought maybe I was going to get attacked, and I was excited for it. And I had thought about my plan on how I was going to execute what was taking place. I had somebody like kind of follow me around in a couple different places, and I went into the bathroom, and I'm like, all right, I'm going in the stall. And when this dude walks in here, it's movie time. We are doing this. Had to pee though, so had to, let's do this first so that during it I'm not pissing my pants while it's all taking place. Had a whole concept and idea of what was going to happen, had a full plan, had weapons in place if need be around the bathroom, going to do the entire thing, yeah. So here, door open, and I'm like, all right, here we go, it's showtime. And I was going to take this guy down, and I was going to hold him down, and then I was going to call WWE head of security Jim Kelly. Okay, and he was obviously going to be pissed that I didn't call 911 and the cops. But then I was going to tell him that I just wanted you to know that I'm about this shit. Like right now, there is a guy in the bathroom just to talk shit to Jim Kelly, who's with the WWE, force him to call the cops. Sure. So he knows what's going on through this entire thing. I like that the Schefter family is like, anything goes wrong, Adam's always on his phone. Call him. He'll know who to get you to. Adam, don't you know that you have the connection at the firefighter place? 911. Yeah.
That one.
I hope they're okay, though. Fires are fucking scary.
Yeah. I wonder,
Gumpy's apartment this weekend.
Yeah.
Buddy, that car was smithereens. I was passed out on my couch, to be fair. It was like 11:30 Friday night. And the fire trucks woke me up. Alarms go off all the time at my apartment just for nothing. But this was very loud, and it was very real. So a car caught on fire, and then it got to the building.
And then the building obviously goes.
You see it from where I was.
Yeah,
huge.
It was massive,
smoke.
dude.
You can see the smoke. I live nowhere near downtown. You can almost see like smoke like from fire. Huge.
So the car ran into the building and caught the building on fire?
No, so there's like a parking lot up top. I can send the picture of the car, actually.
Car was listening to the new Post Malone album, just spontaneously combusted.
The aux cord.
Yeah.
The aux cord was left on. Person went in to go grab something.
Yep.
Left aux cord F1 Trillion playing.
There you go.
I had some help.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And actually, the good thing about that F1 Trillion thing is it did go down with the car. It played all the way until
that's right.
The last char was burned. This car out of a movie, because Gump walked over and took a picture of it and sent the photo. The car lit up, but like then somebody who's in an apartment having a night, no idea. All of a sudden, because like 5 apartments can light quick. If one wind gust or just one, like there's the fire that's happening in the building that is connected. He's part of this. It's all the same. There's like 4 people that own every apartment in downtown
What
Indiana.
apartment complex is it?
Cityway?
That's big dogs. Cityway is.
Oh, yeah.
They're charging New York prices in Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
Next level.
At Cityway. But you get really.
You don't. No.
Yes, you
No,
do.
you do.
Don't undersell it.
You don't get much. No, it's great.
And then did he send the photo of the car or whatever? Yeah, there's the car. Oh. That's where it started at right there.
Did you pull the survivor out of the car, Goop?
Nah, I was just standing on my deck, kind of watching everything go down.
There were no survivors.
The firefighters had it.
There was nobody in that car.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
What?
I'm just joking.
Fire's scary as shit, though, so I'm happy that Schefter's on it for his sister-in-law.
Yeah.
I think he'll be able to sort it and get it figured out. What did we learn there about the Aiyuk situation? Hines. Sounds like?
Sounds like he's
I have no idea. Everything is on the table
But
still.
he acts like by the end of this week, Schefter acts as kind of a deadline, I guess.
He said there was a time where I thought the most likely outcome was he was going to be a Cleveland Brown. There was a time where I thought the most likely outcome was that he was going to be a New England Patriot. There was a time where I thought the most likely outcome was he was going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. There was a time now today that I think he's most likely to be re-signed with the San Francisco 49ers. Then he talked about practice. He brought up practice pretty good, but need to start practicing. It's like, who's telling him that information now? Is that the Aiyuk folks being like he would like to get on a field in practice, or is that the teams? And he said everybody is saying this. So is that multiple teams being like, whatever ends up happening, we just would like to get him on a field ASAP? I'm kind of intrigued how that plays out. Then the Trent Williams deal, hinging upon that, because they're exhausting all their resources, which I've heard is a thing that people say in the Aiyuk situation, and then now they can't do anything with Trent. It's like, what a wild time for them. And then I'm not going to judge preseason Brock Purdy because I've seen regular season Brock Purdy and playoff Brock Purdy. But preseason Brock Purdy this past weekend with no CMC, no Debo, no Kittle, no Trent, obviously no Aiyuk. So basically nobody on the offensive side. And they still had him playing, which, certainly interesting. It wasn't great. No. Like, there was a couple things that happened during the game where you're like, that's not Brock Purdy football. Like, even something as small as he stepped out of bounds 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage when he could have just easily did that. And he takes a sack for a 2-yard loss. It's like, that's not Brock Purdy football.
He threw a ball up in a crowd of like 3 people, and now it was incomplete. It fell incomplete, but it wasn't Brock Purdy. That's
not Brock Purdy football. And then you're like, oh no, it's Brock Purdy. And then you look at everybody on the sideline. You're like, why is Brock Purdy playing in this game?
Yeah, what the hell is going on?
What have they got Brock Purdy? And that's because he's so jacked right now. They wanted to make sure everybody could feel it, AJ. But this San Francisco 49ers situation continuing to linger much longer than I thought it would.
Well, the Aiyuk situation, I don't understand. I just wonder how much dialogue there is back and forth between everybody. And also with these things happen, like, when it happens, boom, it just happens. One person can make a decision and either give them what they want. Aiyuk could all of a sudden say, this is good, I'm going to sign. You never know. Like, Schefter, I guess we know Schefter, though. He has his finger on the pulse, especially San Fran.
Yeah, seemingly everywhere, but definitely through the past. San Fran. Before we get to beat writer who works for the Pat McAfee Show, let's do some college football stuff that caught our eye. College football stuff that caught our eye. Ole Miss team meeting. Electricity with a basketball hoop going in and somebody burying a bucket. Running back coach named Kevin Smith, one-on-one. I assume that's a defensive coach in the team meeting. I don't know if there's an extra sprint on the line, but nonetheless, step back, hezzy, jumper falls, team goes crazy. He stands on the projection screen area, flexing as the entire place is going apeshit. It is these types of moments that you see from a team meeting that make people, I think, that have been in a locker room or been on teams before go, ooh, that team likes each other. That team seemingly all in. This is training camp, dog days, tired, through the legs, step back, hezzy, jumpy, clean, bang! Offense wins something there. I don't know what it is. Maybe one less sprint at the end of practice. Maybe something in the food. Maybe something in meeting time. Whatever it is. Big moment. Love what's happening with Ole Miss, AJ.
Well, I know Tone put out his college football preview. He has Ole Miss as one of the teams that can contend for a national title, don't you, Tone?
I do.
Jackson Dart is back at quarterback. They bring in two Texas A&M pass rusher and a Miami, I believe, pass rusher edge rusher to add to a D-line that was very good last year. They're ranked 6th going into the season. All eyes are on Lane Kiffin. Can he get it done? Can Jackson Dart, with another year of experience, be able to do it? They lose Judkins, the running back, so obviously that's going to be tough to replace, but strengthen up the defense. The vibes look to be immaculate. Now, the question is, what will Lane Kiffin be drinking at his press conferences? This video came out of Ole Miss literally yesterday.
Does anybody drink Coke? You realize that 130% of your sugar for the entire day is in this one bottle? 65 grams of sugar.
When was the last time you had a Coke?
A long time. I don't know. Chris Lowe drinks Coke, though. I do know that. All right. See you guys.
Got to be an easier way to, like, a transition out of that, right?
There's got to be. At least he didn't just wander, not towards an exit or whatever the case is. But I like that he looked at that Coca-Cola and he was like, "I'm sick of this. I know they're probably paying millions of dollars to be here, but why can't we go with boom, Coke Zero? What if he pulled one? Would have pulled one out? What if he knocks that down and puts a Coke Zero down? Say, I'm trying to live a little longer. Let's go to Nebraska. Friend of the program, head coach Matt Rule. We showed a video of him talking to the team last week where he was holding them accountable and asked them a lot of questions on whether or not we want to win or lose. We got an insight into why Matt Rule has been such a successful college football coach. And, you wonder how the team responded to this. How did the team buy in? Well, now we're getting video out of Nebraska Cornhusker training camp. They're bought in. Nebraska is tight right now, and Matt Rule is the man.
If I miss it, you guys don't have to run. If I make it, you run.
If I miss it, you don't have to run. This is normally on a field goal kicker. Instead, it's Matt Rule golfing.
Look how good he looks, too.
Listen, the whole team.
Boom.
Throws phone, one-handed grab by player. They're all seeing the same damn picture. Backflip. Walk off. Get your ass on the line.
Don't ever come at me again. Everybody at once. Hey, one rep, run it like you need it, run it like you want to win. One rep.
Okay, hey. I like what they're doing over there. And I like that Matt Rule put himself in that position because imagine if he divots that. Oh. Duffs that? Player's going to be loud.
Yeah. Can't golf again.
That's going to be very tough. But instead, at the end of that video, which we don't have enough time for, he says 9 times out of 10, I'm missing that. But they were talking. They were running their mouth.
Exactly.
People like me, you don't do that to. And it's like, that's what Matt Rule's looking for from his team. Are the Nebraska Cornhuskers going to go? Oh, no. Is the Big Ten staring at a new powerhouse?
Maybe.
In Nebraska?
A couple years, maybe, sure.
No, what if it's this year?
Good
No, it won't be.
Sure.
They got a quarterback. They know who their quarterback is, right?
Yeah, we should just give him the Heisman right now, shouldn't we? Because he looks like Patrick Mahomes.
He actually does.
He does. Physically, he looks just like Patrick Mahomes.
We'll be back tomorrow. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change their life. We continue on YouTube and ESPN Plus. Suspended from TikTok Live still.
Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
because Jack Carr did the thing. I don't even know if I'm allowed to even do that.
Wow.
Right there.
Is that why?
what are you mimicking?
That's why we're saying why?
Well, what I'm mimicking is Jack Carr, Navy SEAL sniper, going up into a perch and saving the fucking world. How come there's no context in the entire, that's abuse and da-da-da-da. Do you know who got shot? Worst of the worst.
Yeah, exactly.
Atomic bomb going to take over the entire world. But Jack Carr, from that perch right there, right outside of Pretty Much Sports Studio, took that rifle right there and put a hole in the head of Arthur I. Fischel, also known as AI, who was willing to drop a nuclear bomb in the middle of this place. I wasn't here for it. Obviously, they took over our place, had a meeting of these incredibly important folks and influential people. And thank God Jack Carr was here just hanging out because he was going to be on the show the next day.
Exactly.
Guess they don't like justice.
Or maybe they suspended us because we're the only ones that won't bend the knee to the CCP.
What are they asking you to do?
It's that goddamn AI they're using is the issue.
Maybe.
It is.
Maybe. Yeah. Hey, Steve Kerr had some bars last night, huh?
Dude, are you kidding me?
I missed it because Monday Night Raw. I saw
Like
some bars out of Steve Kerr.
Like the great Steph Curry said.
Night.
Night, bitch.
I like that. I like that now. This is the answer for the other parties, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there
He wants to go toe to toe with Hulk?
I don't see. I did see a video of one particular man and Hulk Hogan side by side, and I don't know how that would be a fair fight ever. So I didn't like the way it was framed.
Sure. Well, he did have
like Hulk Hogan. You're the Ichiban. I mean, what are we? What are we?
Ichiban Hulk Hogan.
What are we?
Guy
even
was
talking?
strapped though. He had a couple side pieces on his belt.
I am excited for this though, because we have no preseason games.
Nope.
So just like whenever I learned of whatever that was a couple weeks ago, where it was just promo after promo after promo after promo with some music and my arm.
Yep.
American badass. Like if that's what we're about to get, I'm pumped. It's like the Olympics.
Yeah.
That thing.
Yep.
This
How many
thing.
days? The DNC, how many days does it go? 3, 4?
I just found out these things exist.
I think it's all week.
No, 3 or 4.
Just like the RNC.
I can't
Who's performing? I'm sure they're going to say who's performing.
Probably Quavo, a good friend.
I hope they down in Atlanta. I did see Megan Thee Stallion has performed as well. I wish they'd keep it a surprise though. You know, like I would like to see who just pops in.
Think they turn Kid Rock? Is Kid Rock coming out? You think he's going to do both parties?
That's interesting. I wonder what song he would sing.
Bob might.
It was nothing. My hair was long. Caught somewhere between a boy and man. She was 17 and she was far from in between. It was summertime in northern Michigan. Come on, AJ.
I mean, that's Foxy's battle cry, isn't it?
Yeah.
That might win Michigan right there.
Well,
I hope not.
It's just a good strategy.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm excited to see the world figure out all the stuff that we can't because we're too dumb to. And boy, I'm excited for this convention thing to happen, because when that last one dropped into my life out of nowhere, that was a treat. That was a nice treat. We got public speaking, which I love watching. I will watch people publicly speak. Even if what they're speaking of is not of interest to me, I would like to see how the speaker decides to handle moment, handle situation, deliver message. Are they thinking of audience or thinking of self? Are they thinking of message? Are they thinking of delivery? Are they thinking of both? You can tell if somebody sucks at talking or not, like very quickly. And then once they start to showcase that they suck, then I have that, train wreck type thing. Like I kind of want to, how do they get themselves out of this thing? But then those people that can speak very well, I'm like, okay, that's good promo right there. That's good promo. And I had no idea this convention was 78 promos? Is pretty much what it was?
Just promo after promo after promo after promo, and then a little
live performance.
Musical performance.
And then we're going to the crowd, which is like the state fair. It was like you go to the fucking state fair and there's this interview. It was like, this convention is maybe the greatest show. And I did. So the fact we got another one, I'm pumped about it. I'm very pumped about it. Pretty long time. You would have thought these would be back to back.
I thought that too.
Well, they probably would have been.
Yeah, what is that?
But
what happened?
Is that normally how it goes? I do not know.
I assumed that once the dropout happens, that it did kind of push back.
He was feisty last night.
I did see some clips. I was doing Monday Night Raw last night. Big Braun Strowman, that big son of a bitch.
He's back.
He came back and told that tsunami dealer, Big Brunson Reed, that
Tsunami!
Those things are devastating.
Dude, that guy's a man possessed.
He is, isn't he? They give him a leash.
Yeah,
That's
truly.
good.
I mean, you said it the first time it happened. A couple tranquilizers should be ready to go.
Call the zoo, wherever Raw is next week, and get some tranks. Because that big Brunson Reed, once he sees red and
good luck stopping
That's
him.
it.
then he just gets put on repeat. It's like Groundhog's Day. Boom! And he's like, I need to go back up.
He like blacks out.
And then boom! I need to go back up. Boom! Need to go back up. Boom! It's like, is this guy okay?
And then he leaves.
That's why they need him.
Yeah.
He comes back.
Right here.
Randy's on his way to being the Big Show.
Randy Orton is
holy shit.
He's got to be $3 bills by now.
He
said 290, right?
He's a monster.
He said he was 290 whenever he came back. Like I think he came back. I think he wasn't. I didn't follow. He
looks
on,
awesome.
He was on SmackDown.
He's awesome.
He came back though, and they were introducing him, and they said weighing in at 265 pounds, and he in the camera he was like more like 290 right now. And then you see him, it's like,
Dude, his legs
He's massive.
His legs are huge.
he shot Ludwig Kaiser over the top rope last night with a leg kick. His thighs. His thighs are this. I don't even know if he can wear pants. I don't know if they can fit
No way.
material in between his thighs. He might have to wear
Kilt.
trunks all the time, kilt potentially. I don't know how he's awesome.
Stacked.
Just absolutely is. He punched, and the way he operates in the ring is just so like, they say methodical and everything like that. But it is like everything that is professional wrestling. One punch, and he hears the entire crowd go one, and he pokes up and he goes, okay, we're counting. Oh, I like that. Thank you. Boom, boom, boom. Then a full-on count, and in between every move, it's like a quick check of where everybody's at with everything.
Bro.
And then like, whoa, let's listen to. You hear, they're saying you suck and I'm great. Perfect. Then we get back into it. It's like just in full control the entire time. And whenever you guys created yourself in WWE 2K, you basically described yourselves as Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm 6'5", 280, 270, obviously. I got big thighs. I'm handsome. I can do every move, no problem at all. I want to be a 14-time world champion.
Yeah, I go by the Legend Killer, you know.
Apex Predator.
Right.
I hear voices sometimes, like
in my head.
Tell me if this makes sense to you, but every once in a while, I hear voices. They talk to me. They understand. Singing that is sweet.
Yeah.
That started in France.
Great intro.
When they went over to France, they sang the entire song.
They did it.
And it was like, oh, that should be a new.
They need to go back to France.
That crowd last night was awesome.
Yeah, they were. Off the jump.
That was a very good crowd. And I was trying to figure it out because down there in South Florida, and I don't know about Sunrise, and there's Sunrise, there's Fort Lauderdale, there's Boca Raton, there's Miami, there's so many different towns. And they kept saying Fort Lauderdale. Everybody just kept saying Fort Lauderdale, Fort Lauderdale. I was like, I think we're in Sunrise. And somebody was like, who cares? I'm like, well, the people probably from
Sunrise.
I think this being in Sunrise was a big part of the Predators, right? Remember, because they put the arena is in Sunrise, Florida on as opposed to Fort Lauderdale, but I think Sunrise is potentially outside of whatever the case. The Miami Heat fans don't show up to what, like halftime?
Yes.
Yeah, if that.
Late starters. That show is 8 to 11. It is a late show. And as soon as that show started, place was packed, place was loud. It's almost like they were already in it. I can't thank them enough. They were fucking.
Did you get to go to the elbow room? Or?
Did not stop by the elbow room. I did meet Larry, who is arena security.
Sure.
Okay.
And Predator's social media lady, very kind. They gave me the Kachuk jersey.
Great jersey.
Great jersey.
Good tarp.
That was very kind of them to do that. Yep, there it is. Boom. Gave me that jersey. It was it's a fish. Got the Stanley Cup.
Got the
it's got the patch.
Yeah. Kachuk's still been living his best life, taking the WWE Stanley Cup title around.
Nice.
Him and Tatum were in the back of a cart at a St. Louis Cardinals game.
Sweet.
You know, Randy Orton threw the opening pitch a couple weeks ago for St. Louis Cardinals. Now they got Tatum and Kachuk throwing opening pitch. It's like St. Louis Cardinals got just celebs rolling through there. I don't know if anybody buys tickets to their games.
They're a good fan base.
They are.
Cardinals is a very good fan base.
People are obsessed with the Cardinals. Yeah.
Well,
For real.
Where was the opening pitch that they showed on Monday Night Raw where it looked like it was in front of tens of people? Was it St. Louis?
Talking to Hau Tua girl?
That was Mets.
I heard the Mets fans weren't happy.
Yeah, people don't love her anymore.
Who's people?
Just the internet. And she said Young Gravy DM'd her, and then Young Gravy just posted the DMs between them two. It was actually kind of awesome.
Oh, so Hau Tua took her shot at Young Gravy by saying that she tried to expose Young Gravy.
Yeah, she said that he DM'd her, and she was like, nah. And turns out Young Gravy was like, well, I'm just going to post these. And she DM'd him. It was a whole thing.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, Hau Tua knows Young Gravy.
Yeah, of course.
Knows Young Gravy.
Two peas in a pod.
Singer.
Hau Tua merch did not disappear. A lot of people thought when Hau Tua happened that Hau Tua's dad would potentially, or family would all just be like, all right, need to disappear from the world. That's what people thought. Like, people are saying that on the internet. That was the initial, and Hau Tua, Haley, I think her name is, was like, that was a bar. Yeah, it was hysterical.
Still in it?
She's out there trying to raise money for foundations and stuff. She's doing it right.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Dogs for Vets.
Other people have been made famous out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and people have. Hau Tua girl just talking about, doing her thing late night on the street, turning it into an entire run. I say good on you. Good. Now, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to have success, but, like, good on you.
Yeah.
Good on Hau Tua.
Doing it.
Opening pitch for the Mets is a big deal.
Sweet. Good ball, too.
Massive deal.
Did she throw a good ball?
Yeah, it was a decent ball.
How's that happen? How the Mets become the one?
That's a good question.
It's a big apple.
Right now, they're
Mets will
kinda
pay anyone to do anything.
kind of just grabbing. I mean, shit, the Grimace was the McDonald's guy was the fucking mascot of the franchise for a while there.
Michael Cole didn't have thoughts about it?
Hold on, we have a little correction here. Zito just pulled up some messaging. Young Gravy, you started a chat. Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir. 2 days later, she was also 1:44 a.m. Don't know if it's her photos. Damn, I just looked at your page. You really out here be doing this shit. LOL, congrats. What's this shit, by the way? Is it? Oh, that's just doing nothing.
Just doing the.
When I just went to your page, I was for real trying to salute you for being a certified top champ. Okay, so they're caking here. What are we even?
Yeah, and to be fair, Gravy did not post the top of the top. He just posted from the hello, sir.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, Hau Tua is trying to do so. I respect what Hau Tua has turned this.
That's Gravy football.
Yeah, Young Gravy saying.
He said,
I don't know. Have we ever heard a Young Gravy song?
I think I've seen him.
I just found out
Heard his voice, have you?
Yeah, he's a
He's got
musician.
that deep voice, super deep voice.
I want to say I heard one.
Tampa
Way
Bay
back.
Bust Down. It's a banger.
Okay, to be clear, no Young Gravy. He's like an interview guy, like content guy. That's where I do.
He's 6'8".
Big dog. Young Gravy.
Big SOB.
Just singer.
It's Young Gravy.
It kind of looks like,
Okay, that is the guy I was thinking of. Just making sure.
So it is the guy I'm probably thinking.
Yeah, I think
definitely.
so. You've seen him.
Curly hair.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Here we go.
How about Jack Harlow? No reference to Young Gravy, but similar conversations, I guess. He's in the Instigators.
Yeah, one of the stars.
He's
You
good.
like that movie?
I like the Instigators. I did.
I haven't finished it. It's good though so far.
They were in some spots I don't know how they got out of, but sure. There had to be some creative liberties, it seemed like. But I didn't mind the movie at all.
are you being genuine?
Casey Affleck, funny.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever seen Casey Affleck work before, but he was certainly
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's the man.
He's good.
his delivery.
Try acting when you get shot like 3 times.
What's that, pal?
Try acting when you get shot like 3 times.
In real life or in a movie?
In the movie.
Okay, well, potentially 2. So
Spoiler.
that's a whole part of the whole conversation.
Spoiler.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but maybe not. Maybe not, though.
Okay.
You know.
Oh, blanks.
I wasn't going
We don't know. We don't know. You tell me. You know, that's the whole.
Gump said it was the worst movie he's ever seen. Now, and if you're saying
Come
it's
on.
not bad, it actually means it's probably really
I
good.
didn't say worst movie. It just wasn't that good.
Okay, what you hate about it? What did you hate about it?
I just had high hopes. I don't watch many movies. Probably first movie I've watched this year.
Got it. Matt
So-
Damon, though, has been on quite a run of crop. Remember, it started
Yeah.
with that downsizing. What was the movie? Little People?
That was
Downsizing.
That movie's the worst movie I've ever watched in my entire life. And so
they
that's,
legit cut film out of it.
that was the dumbest. I don't know how that became.
I didn't see it.
Remember, I watched that movie 3 times because I thought I was wrong with how terrible the movie was.
Oh, boy.
Remember, we talked about this. This is years ago.
I watch it
Should I
once a
watch
year
it?
to see if they change it.
Huh?
Is it so bad it's good? Should I watch it? I've never seen it. Should I watch it because it would be funny for me?
You'll get to the end of it and just be like, how are people that are supposed to make movies spending money on this movie and allowing this movie to be what it is? You know, especially with Matt Damon a part of it, because Matt Damon, you obviously think about all the stuff. So downsizing was so bad. Like, genuinely believe they fucked up. Think they edited out some scenes. They forgot they edited out some scenes. They put it out, and it's like, this is the movie now. You know, well, you got to make up and think about how the whole thing happened. So I was kind of out on Matt Damon. You know, I was kind of out on Matt Damon. Audience score was 25% for downsizing, which is lower than the tomato meter, 47%.
Still rotten, though.
Still, okay. Mild-mannered therapist pulse you up and decide to undergo a process in which trying to shrink people down to a miniature size to be able to live in a different world that they create that's like yada, yada,
Kind
yada.
of cool, like an ant.
It was a cool idea, cool concept. Matt Damon, too.
Yeah.
I was very excited to watch it. And then it was like a long movie, too. That thing's like 2 hours and some.
Jeez.
So I committed a lot to it. And then when
Is it a comedy? Is it supposed to be funny?
It is
Or
definitely
is it like
comedy.
dramatic, sad? What is it?
I don't know. And then he did that dark comedy one where there was, it was in like a neighborhood and there was some like murder.
Suburbicon.
Yeah, that one, Suburbicon. There it is.
Jeez.
That was
Haven't
another
even
one.
heard of that.
This is another Matt Damon movie. So Matt Damon, in my eyes,
Those were back to back.
after those 2 movies, was like, okay, this guy, out of my life. This guy stinks. And this guy has no idea what's a good movie. So when the Instigators pops up and it's his face right there. But then Matt Damon in
Nike.
Nike was great.
Ford versus Ferrari has been since then.
Okay, I haven't watched that one. But the one where he was the corn syrup.
The Informant.
The Informant.
All time.
Great movie.
All time.
Great movie. Okay, so then I see The Informant, though, after those 2, so Matt Damon starts coming back. So then the Ford Ferrari thing starts coming back in my mind.
You see The Martian?
Haven't watched it. No, have never
Okay.
seen The Martian.
Very good.
Have not watched those movies long time, though. Last thing I've really seen him do is that commercial where he says,
Oh, my God.
the future favors the brave. It's like,
Yeah.
that's not what they fucking say, Matt. They say the future favors the bold. So it's like, I've had an interesting relationship with this Matt Damon fella, obviously. So when I see The Instigators was something that looks like Ben Affleck that isn't Ben Affleck, and then I see Matt Damon on it, I'm like, kind of torn. How's this going to be? So went in with the negative thoughts.
Sure.
Watch movie, good movie, Matt Damon's back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Are we being genuine here? Because as a Boston guy, first of all, I'm rooting for this movie more than anything. And the Boston people I've talked to said it is, quote, so, 3 so's, bad. So I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't make my own
Well,
opinion.
what is it supposed to be? What are we
Not the
judging it
town.
against?
This isn't the town, con man. Yeah, like don't go in expecting.
Well, no,
like,
but it's
some
like
instant classic.
Casey
you're
Affleck
rooting-
and Matt Damon should be a banger in my eyes.
And you're rooting for guys from Boston to do well. Of course.
Yeah, but what are we judging it against? Like Titanic?
You're just judging it as a movie.
It's an action movie. Like I judge that against like a rock movie, like a
Okay.
like an
Okay.
action.
That's all I need to know.
Expectations are everything.
Okay. Good to
when
know.
you have low
Good
expectations
to know.
and something over delivers, it's the greatest thing.
Yeah,
of
but
all
there's some
time.
great action scenes.
I guess we're comparing it to fucking Jungle Cruise. So yeah,
That was on a couple nights ago. It was pretty good.
Good
movie.
But it's not Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
I'm saying not Jungle Cruise. I'm saying like Fast and Furious may be a conversation.
Dude, oh my God. Matt Damon being compared to Fast and Furious.
Whoa,
That's not my
whoa,
Matt
whoa,
Damon.
That's not
brother.
my
Take it
It's
easy.
live action, bro.
That's not my. I mean, Casey Affleck, Matt Damon. We're talking about Oscar winners here, and we're comparing it to
And Ron
fucking
Perlman.
Jumanji 2.
It's a good, the Jaw guy, that's a Jaw guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good, I would say, good movie.
Is that Big Rames?
Are you
doing it?
expecting it to be like
Hey, what's his name?
Oscar-winning greatest movie of the year? No.
No, but that's what
Richard
Matt
Jewell is in
Damon.
it.
Like that's my Matt Damon. That's my Casey Affleck. Like
Richard
Casey
Jewell
Affleck.
is in it.
Yeah, Richard Jewell is in it.
Walter, and I also saw
PWA.
Joaquin Phoenix is in it.
Yes, pretty important part of the whole thing. It's a good movie.
I don't know if I believe it's a good movie.
Joining us now is a man who has good taste in things. That's why he's currently working for us. He's also live, back in the building, covering the Pittsburgh Steelers, right where he's supposed to be, like he has been for 22 straight years. Ladies and gentlemen, contributor to WWE.com and correspondent for our program, Mark Caboli.
Yeah, boy.
What's up?
Mark, sorry we got caught in a conversation there about movies. Have you ever seen The Instigators? It's out on Apple TV right now. Good movie. Even though people are burying it, I guess. It's a good movie, Mark.
Nah, I really don't watch much movies at all anymore. It's basically the kid commandeering the TV to watch wrestling on YouTube, and that's about it.
I love that. Hey, had a good one last night. When do you start? When are you going to start writing? Do you know? When?
Yeah, Bash in Berlin. I think I'm going to be writing some stuff.
Heading over?
No, I've never been out of the country before. To be honest with you, I've been to about 39 different stadiums in the United States, but I've never been outside the country.
Do you have a passport? Do you have a passport or no?
It's expired.
Yeah, I mean, that's classic. Tim McAfee was asked this morning if he has a passport. It's expired. I mean, I did the whole song and dance. I'm not doing it again. I appreciate and respect that. We need to get you out of the country sometime. But since you're not out of the country, you're back at work. How's it feel to be back, boots on the ground, covering the Pittsburgh Steelers where you're supposed to be, Mark? How do you feel?
Very good, very good. It's first time we're back here at the Southside facility. They were up training camp for the past 3 weeks. A little chilly here in Pittsburgh today. Upper 60s, right next to the river here. I believe that might be the Monongahela River to my right. I believe it is. So it's a little chilly, a little football weather in the air here. So it's very nice to be back. Was able to talk to a little bit of Artie Smith, a little bit of Calvin Austin and some of the boys inside the locker room. And they were well aware of my plight over the past 3 weeks. So that was quite interesting.
A lot of people asking you how you doing. A lot of people wondering, was there a cake that you came back? What was the celebration? A sandwich maybe? A sub? A high five? A hug? What was it?
It was more of, what the hell happened to you?
Oh. Tell them you're viral, but yeah. Tell them you're beat writing on the internet now, which is you have been doing, but now people are seeing it, which is awesome news. We can't thank you enough for your 2 articles that you posted. They've been awesome. Kaboli, it's been fun to read. It's been fun to read what you're doing out there.
We'll have another one coming up here later today. So about Artie Smith, a little bit of Artie Smith and how that offense is being viewed, even though they've scored about, 9 points in 8 quarters. So it's going to be quite interesting here. I know everybody's panicking in Pittsburgh. If you were here, you would think that the bridges are tumbling into the river right now. It's so terrible. But the Steelers don't view it as that way quite yet.
Okay, well, obviously, you got a lot of time before the season starts. We're just in preseason. They're showing things, trying to learn who they are. That's obviously not panic, but the Injuries have been panicked over the last few years because the team has not looked like a team that they can celebrate into the playoffs in a deep way and maybe even win a Super Bowl. I think a lot of Yinzers kind of give up their dream of winning a Super Bowl before the season even starts the last couple years. Last year had the most amount of hope because how preseason looked. Instead, it went the complete opposite direction. So I think Yinzers are a little pessimistic naturally, but this has certainly been heightened. Now, you talk about the Monongahela River, and obviously that's right over there. And you got the Allegheny that flows into the Ohio.
Sure.
Okay,
Down there a little bit.
Yeah, down there. Obviously, bodies are being pulled out of there. I think there's cars being pulled out of there, and the river is good. The bridges aren't tumbling. But whenever you talk to Artie Smith, what does he tell you about what needs to happen? Is he talking about the offensive line? Is he talking about figuring out which quarterback's right? What is Artie Smith telling you, or do we need to wait for the article before everything comes out?
I can tell you what Artie Smith says about the quarterbacks here. Basically, I'm glad I'm not the head coach right now and don't have to make that decision of who's going to be the starting quarterback right now. He goes, I'll give my opinion, but that's above my pay grade. And that's interesting coming from a guy that's been a head coach the past 3 years. He's just going about his business trying to get both of these guys ready. But it's really they view it as a weird situation because Russell Wilson only practiced 2 or 3 days. He took about 21 snaps, and Arthur Smith said, you know what, he didn't even have to be out there, especially later in that first half, but he wanted to. He wanted to get better. It doesn't matter if you're a 1 year, a rookie or a 14-year veteran. You need to knock some rust off, and you need to go out there and go out and play. So, and he truly feels that Russell will be a little bit better moving forward here. Not like much of that, any of it was his fault against the Bills. I mean, when you're facing 3rd and 14s and 3rd and 10s and getting sacked 3 times in 21 snaps, that's pretty hard for anybody to overcome. So they're not panicking. They're just trying to get their stuff in order and figure by the time they get to week 1, all their stuff in order will then lead to a successful offense.
And obviously, you're only going to get better as the year goes on. And what they look like week 1 is that,
filth.
I tweeted about this in the moment whenever I saw this play happen. It's like I hadn't even fathomed the Russell Wilson depot to George Pickens, like being added to our life. Because if Russell Wilson can't throw them which what every stats person was telling us about last year, Russell Wilson's having a good year. That's literally Orlovsky, Hembo, everybody. He can still move it down the field. George Pickens can make absurd catches like that and has literally since he got to Pittsburgh every single training camp practice. I think you told us his rookie training camp, you were like, it would be more shocking if George Pickens didn't make an absurd catch every single day than if he did make a crazy catch. You still feel that way? And how do you feel about the Pickens and Wilson potential future, Kaboli?
Yeah, I mean, look at that right there. I mean, we're talking about a ball where he has to contort his body, and he's literally, a toenail away from getting it in. All of a sudden, there's a different view of the Steelers and Russell Wilson in this offense if he's able to get that second foot down by, a millimeter right now. But, yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson throws an absolute tremendous deep ball, and that's something they've pretty much have lacked all of last year. I mean, Kenny Pickett was good at some things that he was able to be good at. Throwing the ball deep down the field wasn't necessarily one of that. So you're able to run the ball, play action, hit some of those big balls down the field, and all of a sudden that changes the whole outcome of the game. The only thing you got to worry about is once you get to September 8th, once you get to Atlanta, once you get to a defensive line like Raheem Morris, a defensive mind like Raheem Morris, do you absolutely do the Bill Belichick and take that guy completely out of the game and say, Calvin Austin, Van Jefferson, Scotty Miller, you have to beat us? I don't know if that's possible right now. So that's where the Aiyuk stuff comes in. So some of the other guys are going to have to step up. Roman Wilson's looking like he's almost back to being healthy. So that should help a little bit. But they're definitely going to need a number 2 type of receiver to take the pressure off of George Pickens. Because, I mean, you can take any guy out if you want to.
Bill Belichick actually said yesterday, it's funny you say that, because he's kind of the one that created the whole, we'll just double with our second and third corner, your number 1 guy. Then your number 2 guy, we're going to put our number 1 corner on. So now all of a sudden, you got to go down to your third option. And if you're able to do that, okay, you beat us then. And now everybody is seemingly able to do that. He actually mentioned yesterday, because the amount of heat that Russell was getting, he was talking about how they need a number 2 wide receiver, bad. Yeah. That offensive line needs to figure it out. He said that you got a guard getting beat on inside leverage on one of these. Like the way Bill was viewing it, he was not happy and thrilled about it all, even though Russell's getting figured out. We got time to get it sorted, though. We got time to get it sorted. Tone has a question for you, Mark.
Yeah, watching that highlight and watching that game, there was one question for me, and it was about Broderick Jones. The brace on his arm, do we know what's going on injury-wise there and how long it's been going on? And is that why he is not playing well? Is he going to get moved to left tackle when Fautanu comes back? Because I believe Jerry Dulac reported that Fautanu was going to start at right tackle. What's the deal with Broderick, and is that going to be a situation all year long with that arm?
Yeah, I mean, Broderick didn't talk after the game. He said he'd go see the doctor, so that tells you a little bit there. But he's had a brace on that elbow for probably the better part of training camp. I think he has some sort of a thumb injury as well. Good. Not 100% sure about that. But whenever Fautanu comes back, and it should be by the regular season, we haven't really gotten much of an update right now, they'll switch those 2 guys. Broderick Jones will go over more to his a natural left tackle. Fatanu will go to right. Dan Moore will be that swing guy. Obviously, Zach Frazier now will start at center with Herbert out basically for the season with a rotator cuff. And they got 2 veteran guards, and I think that will be fine. You look at the past 2 years, Tone, their offensive line struggled early on, but Pat Meyer, their offensive line coach, was able to turn that around.
I heard they hate
within the
him.
4 or 5 games. Well, everybody, in Pittsburgh, they hate everybody, right? So
Even the Lord town's pretty cool.
Doesn't matter.
Jesus
They hate
Christ,
Mike
too?
Tomlin.
Yeah.
Well, it could.
Yeah,
Depends on what
probably.
happens.
They hate Tomlin. They hate me. They hate everybody. So,
Mr.
I mean,
Permet?
you can't deny, but you cannot deny what Pat Meyer's done with that offensive line in the second half of the past 2 years. They've been absolutely flawless. And you would have to figure when you have such young guys, Frazier, Fatanu, and even Broderick Jones, that eventually, with some time, they will get to that point.
Yeah, I hope so, because I would like to see Steelers fans have fun for a year on the offensive side, because it's just been, and we don't like saying it because you talk about Jesus Christ and everything.
Of course. I wouldn't say that.
Seven's last couple of years, that offense we knew nowhere near going to be able to win a Super Bowl.
But the thing is with Seven was, even his last year, he was not bad. You probably could take that right now.
Agreed. Not going to win a
Maybe
Super
not
Bowl.
right now.
Not going to win a Super Not going to win a Super Bowl, though, the way the offense was. Not Seven couldn't win a Super Bowl, but the offense was, he was getting it, and that was like 2 yard.
There's that video of him falling after throwing.
It was 11-0, but we knew.
Yeah, you couldn't win a Super Bowl with what was happening. Whenever the push came to shove in the playoffs with that particular offense, not that was Ben Roethlisberger's fault. I'm just saying what the offense was. Snap, got out. I mean, that ball, it wasn't even, you talk about Bill Belichick, but you face any defense coordinator in the playoffs when the game matters. It's like sitting on that shit, rushing that. We're going the other way. Not going to win a Super Bowl, but at least we were watching Ben Roethlisberger do his thing, so at least we get a chance to see Seven, kind of do his thing.
Some might have blamed that on Matt Canada. Sure. Some might have blamed that on the offensive line. He was in self-preservation mode at that time. Let me get rid of the ball or I'm going to get my head knocked off.
Bingo. So what I'm saying is there's been years now where there hasn't been like we have an offense that could win a Super, like in a big game in the playoffs, we have an offense that could do it. There hasn't been that feeling around Pittsburgh. So now, will any Yinzer ever feel that even if they had it, probably not, goes back to your point, they hate everything. But it is like some hope would be great early in the season.
Since 2017 in the Killer Bees, that was the last time.
Yeah, I mean, they lost. I think they lost the AFC Championship game in Boston, right?
Yes, they did. Yeah, Lev was hurt. AB got hurt.
Well, AB went live on his Instagram after they won the divisional.
That's right.
Yeah, you saw.
Which
I saw the long snappers in their naked butt. Yeah, I remember.
Let's not judge anybody. That happens sometimes. You don't know what's in the backdrop.
Lev also got hurt on like the first drive, so that did not help.
Speaking of Boston Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Kaboli, are you going to try and count the amount of gum pieces chewed by special teams coordinator Danny Smith this year? We saw him on the sidelines during the preseason game, and it looked like he actually had 20 pieces of gum.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love Danny. I think he told me one time a couple of years ago that somebody sent him gum and wanted to sponsor his gum addiction, and it wasn't the brand he liked, so he denied it. So I'm not quite sure what brand that is, but he can sure shove the
shit
the
out
gum
of
into his
it.
mouth.
Jeez,
He's got to brush his teeth, though. Make sure be careful with all that gum chewing. You don't want to be going to the dentist.
A lot of sugar.
Danny likes to use colorful words. But I guess that's all about special teams coaches. What special teams coaches don't like to use colorful words? You got to love Danny Smith. I think he does a very good job for what he does here, but he's a character too. So,
I saw a lot of Steelers fans saying he's got to figure it out, on the field. And
see
to that, there it is, exactly. Yeah, you got to figure it out. But with this new return, if anybody actually does it, in Pittsburgh, it might be forced to because you can't kick a touchback maybe with the way the weather gets late in the AFC North. I will be excited to see what Danny Smith does. It's been around long-ass time. Long-ass. Got Cam Johnston now punting for him. Boswell misses one this past week, but that ain't going to happen. That's preseason football. You have a returner, you got a punter, you got a kicker, you got a chance to have a great group. I'm excited for Danny going in.
I mean, Danny's always great. They block multiple punts a year. I don't know what anyone who's got a problem with Danny, you come talk to.
I think it's been a while since long return, right? You wrote about that in one of your articles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Hey, they even got an all-pro special teamers in Miles Killebrew as well. I mean, he's the one that had a couple blocks last year as well. So
Gunnar Olszewski.
it's it's a tough Gunnar Olszewski.
Whoa, he's all pro. He's all pro. Watch your mouth.
Well, he came here. I think he came. Was that last year he was here? He was an absolute star in training camp.
Yeah, but he packed bombs.
Disappeared.
Yeah, but first punt, was a turnover. I think it was
that, and then he caught the kickoff. He made sure he got both feet inbounds.
And out of the 6 or whatever, the 4. Yeah. Hey, that's going to happen sometimes. Gunnar Olszewski football.
Yeah, bingo. He's a hard-nosed son of a bitch.
Yeah, just like Mark Caboli. Go ahead, AJ.
Caboli, what happens? Like, which quarterback starts the season, and do you think whoever starts, are they there, week 10, 12, 14?
How long's the leash?
Still playing?
Wow, you sound like sports talk radio in Pittsburgh right now. Listen,
thank you.
It's all about the
Mark
quarterback.
Madden.
Who's going to start?
Double M. Talking about double M.
Madden, he's the one that he loves the Pirates. I mean, he's Steelers, same difference. He hates them both. But
yeah, loves the Pens though. Loves the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh yeah.
How could you not?
I mean, you couldn't because they stink, but
AJ, I just don't know where the hate comes from Russell Wilson. To be honest with you, I think he's everything that they want and everything that they need right now. He's not going to.
Everything I wanted.
He's not going to turn the ball over.
So tell me what to do now when I want Russ Wilson. Hey, here's everything they wanted and everything they needed.
I have no idea what song that is.
Come on,
Holy.
What is it? Is it like the Backstreet Boys or something?
Close.
Almost there.
Close. Who's the other one?
O-Town.
O-Town. Yeah.
No, O-Town.
I loved O-Town.
Hey, that TV show, right? That's why everybody.
Yes, it was great.
Were they the You Plus Me Equals Us crew? Was that
the MTV Put Us Together show?
Making the Band?
Making
Well, that was
Making the Band.
What was happening?
Wasn't that?
Yeah.
Who did that show?
Anymore.
Who did that show?
P. Diddy.
That was Puffy.
Oh, AJ's.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
AJ, you know him.
I need to go watch the show. Actually, I never watched.
That was In Sync, I do believe. It was hard to confuse. They both had bangers.
Oh, I thought that was the kids.
Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, In Sync,
B44.
Backstreet Boys.
Christina Aguilera.
Hell yeah, she's best singer out of all of them too. We all understood that because she was from Pittsburgh. Everybody understood that. Then there was the Lachey group. What were they called? Body Degrees 98.
Yeah, 98 degrees.
98 degrees.
98
Jessica Simpson had a little bit of a run there.
Yep.
O-Town, I guess, did have some songs that AJ remembers. I think AJ met the guy from O-Town. Is that what happened?
Is he related to him?
No.
It's probably
The 98 degrees guys are from Cincinnati.
Yeah, the Chicken of the Sea.
Chicken of the Sea. Yeah, exactly. Nick Lackey. Yep.
Scene.
Yeah.
Lachey. Okay. Yeah, a little respect, please, for Nick.
There's nothing wrong with O-Town, AJ. Nothing.
Well,
hey, I'm a fan.
I bet someone could dive into them.
I'm sure they're still touring.
They do those mega tours where that whole group right there just is like.
Well, not In Sync.
Well, that's because JT's able to sell out wherever he wants.
Exactly.
Well,
how about him
the world tour is ruined.
How about when he gets arrested, then the next night, straight out?
Rock your body.
Eyes look good.
They actually might be at the casino this weekend in Pittsburgh.
Rivers? O-Town down there at the Rivers?
Okay.
Nah, but there's a lot of bands that are looking for places to play end up at the Rivers, so put it that way.
Hey, the casinos are a great place to. A lot of people getting a lot of gigs from casinos because got a lot of people in casinos that might be bored of losing their money at the slot machine. Hey, we got insert name of act here that you might have heard of right down the street, right down the hallway. It's a good play.
Barth Brooks.
Giving people a lot of work. Exactly. I appreciate that. All right, Caboli, we're going to get the hell out of here. What are you having for lunch, or did you already eat?
I had some chicken, I believe. We had it earlier. Our practice is going on right now. I'm going to go see out there and see how Russell's throwing the ball a little bit. A little bit of locker room, and that's about to call it a day. A little writing going on and
Bankers
having fun. By the way, I didn't answer AJ's question. I believe it's going to be Russell Wilson. He's going to start, period. Let's just stop talking about it.
Put it on the ticker. Ladies and gentlemen, correspondent for the Pat McAfee Show, contributor, WWE. Hey, real quick. On that note, Ty has a question.
Yeah, Caboli, who the fuck's going to deal with Big Brunson Reed, huh? I mean, are you thinking about maybe dusting off the singlet and getting in there and twisting it up with him? Or what? I mean, no one can stop this guy. It's an epidemic. It's an issue.
Braun. Braun. Is that how they do it?
Yeah.
Braun. He's a monster.
He is.
He's a monster. I see your dirty, no good, stinking Dominic Mysterio was a little trashy last night, huh?
Yeah, he's always trashy. That's what dumpsters
What
do.
in the world?
Street trash.
This guy, he said one-on-one. We all knew. Everybody knew it. As soon as it came out of his mouth, I'm going to take on Damian Priest one-on-one tonight. Just me. Yeah. We all knew he was lying.
No, you're not.
He wouldn't.
He would never do that. Big Bronson Reed, though, hopefully that
Big
one
man.
big son of a bitch, Braun Strowman, is able to handle it. Because if not him, then who? Adam Pearce hasn't been able to figure it out.
No, he hasn't.
Who I love. I love Adam Pearce.
Need to bring back
The Miz is just taking beatings, you know.
Still?
The Miz is getting all emotional, too. He said that me and Cole were mocking the impact of the tsunami. No, we weren't.
True.
We were telling you the stats
kidding
we were
me?
told from scientists.
Yeah.
I thought Miz was going to win last night, too.
Did you?
I thought he was going to go over.
You had a hell of a run there for a bit.
You might have to dip back in a little bit and bring back Brock Lesnar.
Oh,
you can take out some Bronson. What?
Hey, put that in your first article. Put that in your first article.
Get him back.
Write about it. Write about
He can handle the big
little.
man.
Maybe you do write about all the people that you think throughout the history of the WWE that might be able to stop this big Bronson Reed tsunami. That is just
King Kong Bundy.
Maybe.
George Animal Steel.
Maybe. I mean, Paisano from Pittsburgh, obviously.
Bob Backlund.
Well,
Sure.
Bruno
He walked all
Sammartino.
over him.
That's right.
Kishi.
All right. We can't wait to read.
Big John Studd was from Butler, PA, so.
Big John Studd. I didn't know he's from Butler, PA. I didn't know that. Hey, when was the last time you went to Kennywood, Mark? When was the last time you went to Kennywood?
Oh,
Mark.
It's been a while. I see they have some kind of promotion of they're going to be open till all night or midnight now or something.
Yeah,
or,
that's not good.
What are you talking about?
Let the bumps in. Let the
Let's
bumps
go.
in.
That's
25
good.
cents a pop.
You guys need to.
Oh, you know what? They got those great Christmas lights around Christmas time, man.
Oh, there you
They
go.
do.
Joe DiNardo.
Yeah.
Every time
He
Joe
knows.
DiNardo
He knows.
talked,
Yeah, he's
every time
going
Joe
tonight.
DiNardo.
What about Fan
Every
Fright
time
Night?
DiNardo talked, you thought there was going to be about 8 inches of snow outside every time he spoke.
Come on. That's two people now. AQ and Kaboli.
All right. Let's all relax, please.
Uh-oh.
All right,
He invented the Doppler.
All right, he did. It's the DiNardo Doppler. Everybody's using it. We don't need your shit, Mark.
Yikes.
Next article coming out on X tonight sometime?
Yes, sir.
What time?
Yes, sir.
What time?
7:18.
Okay. Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, see his shit at 7:18. Mark Kaboli.
Yeah, Mark.
I don't know what just happened.
I mean-
I would like to let everybody. That is not.
Starting to learn a lot more.
Yeah, that's a tough look.
I don't
feel
like it.
Listen, I don't like it, but I don't go too far with the Kennywood slander from you. You fucking don't even think about Joe.
Thank you. Mark Kaboli might be able to let it slide because he's in the middle
Don't
of his
even
critique era.
fucking think about Joe.
But we have never considered that. But for Kaboli, for AQ first to start with that.
Look at the sources. What are we even talking about here?
Kaboli is one of the most, if not the most respected journalist that has ever worked at this company. So who am I
my God.
who am I to question what a guy who's been in the business for 22 years?
I think Kaboli has a little jealousy issue with DiNardo because
think?
Kaboli, who had been covering the Steelers for a decade plus, he and DiNardo walked into a Giant Eagle one time, and nobody even knew Kaboli was there. They went right to DiNardo.
I could see that.
So since that moment, fucking Kaboli's been out. And AQ, we don't even need to talk about the deep-seated bullshit hate he had.
Yeah, he's a Penn State guy, too. I figured Joe DiNardo's son might have pinged Kaboli in high school. And that was probably
did.
it.
There's a chance. We never know. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. What a show today, boys. Way to go. Covered everything.
Yeah. Truly.
Speaking of Penn State, look out week 1, okay, in Morgantown.
New sheriff.
Take the 10.
Have you seen what Neil Brown looks like right now? Let alone listen to the words he says and how much he has his team's back. Just look at what Neil Brown is showing up to this particular college football season. He was on with Mario McGee this past weekend, and I'll tell you what, if you're in the Big 12, it is time to start shitting your pants. This is a new fucking Neil Brown.
I texted one of your colleagues at ESPN the other day. They did this top 100 players list in college football. And I'm like, man, how do you have a job and you're deciding 100 list when like Garrett Green's not on it? And because I don't get it. You know, we got a tackle. Wyatt Milam's going to be either a first or an early second round pick. He wasn't on the list either. And I'm just wondering, did you not get the W as you were looking at players? Because West Virginia, you know, like, did you not get all the way down to our name? And
that's a good question. Goatee, Neil Brown, American flag on his forehead. We're about to fucking run the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
You know how mad he is? Have you seen GG run wild ever before? 100 players better than GG? Oh, okay.
Come on now.
You got a first-round draft pick.
First, second?
Early second, please.
Early. He's got New England written all over.
He's got a good goatee right now.
Hey, I'm back on him. It's like he woke up one morning. He's like, "Oh, I don't have to have a bowl cut and be clean.
All right.
And look like a dipshit."
What's this guy's deal, AJ?
He looks awesome.
He does. He looks great.
He looks great.
Sick. A la Toby Keith.
Is Ohio State worried? Do you think Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, everybody in
about the Mountaineers?
Yeah, when you see that shit coming out, when you see Neil Brown, yeah.
After the silent disco, I think that's when they started shaking in the boots. As they.
All right, I won't handle this slander anymore. We're getting out of here.
I think it looks like fun. I honestly am not knocking it. It looks like a fun time. Are they all listening? We all hear the same stuff, right?
Yeah, same song.
I think there could have been multiple channels.
Yeah, I think you could change country, and then there was some house music, I believe, and then there
I
was
want to try.
There's meditative stuff too. That was in the corner of the club. The weirdos that are scared to get on the dance floor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not the weirdos, just the hanging out.
Yeah, I think Chip Kelly was like, Coach Day, don't you think we should start preparing for West Virginia? And Coach Day was like, hell, Coach, the only place we're going to see them is at State. But I think they are.
Let's get out of here. Everybody needs to relax. West Virginia, Garrett Green's about to run wild on Penn State week 1.
Man.
In Morgantown.
That'll put them on the map, man. For real.
I'm sorry. This
win.
isn't even about West Virginia. Just like the thought of Chip Kelly asking Ryan Day, like, "Hey, Coach, you worried about fucking Purdue this year?" And just his thoughts, like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm worried about every fucking game because if we lose one, they're gonna burn my fucking house down."
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to pay you. Got to pay the D coordinator. We got to pay all these players. We got the biggest salary cap out of anybody. We got Tressel and Urban coming out saying this is the greatest team of all time. And guess what? We don't win by more than 2 scores against some of these teams, they're going to want to fire my fucking head. My kids can't even go to school.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
The pressure that is on Ryan Day is absurd. And then Tone Diggs goes, you know what? Let's add a little bit more. Ohio State should not, he might as well say here, instead of might not. They might not give up a TD in the first 5 weeks of the entire season. That's reality, AJ. That is a reality of a situation with this Ohio State team this year.
Well,
yeah, especially what they gave up 11 points a game last year. Is that what you said?
Yeah. A lot of the replies were like, actually, most of the replies were, Iowa's D will get 1.
Okay, so
there's a chance.
So the defense won't give up the touchdown. The offense of Ohio State will actually give up.
But in all honesty, like Akron and West Mac schools, they probably won't, and then Marshall probably not.
It's
and then
tough to shut everybody
Michigan
out,
State
though,
and Iowa
for real,
were both like 130th in offense last year. Now they do have different coordinators, different offensive staffs this year.
Well, different quarterbacks too, right? The quarterback's back for Iowa.
No, there's a chance he's not going to win the job. We'll see. Cade McNamara, I told you, he's got to show me something. You got to show me something, son.
So
all right, you got another guy who, let's just say, there's a blitzkrieg coming to the Big Ten.
Oh,
what's his name?
And his name is Iowa. We don't know who the quarterback is yet.
Sullivan, right? Who's the backup?
Yeah, it was Brandon Sullivan.
Yeah, Brandon Sullivan.
Sully's a dog.
Yeah, Sully's a dog. Transferring in from Northwestern, said, "Fuck this place." All right, I basically got the interim head coach, a head coaching job. I want to go play for Tim Lester. Okay, I want to go play for this guy's offense. You know, a lot of shots, explosives, crazy motions, movements. Basically, I mean, you're not going to know what you're getting with Iowa's offense this year.
High flying, huh? Is that what you're saying?
High flying. Caleb Brown, Ohio State transfer. How
about Marco
Lanes? He ain't going to play this year.
What?
He's a good boy, though.
He's second string.
Yeah, I don't think that's...
No, that's not right.
Bo Stevens.
Oh, this is just the people on the roster?
Yeah.
Brendan Sullivan in the gold. I love that. New addition, transfer or freshman.
Only one. That's rare to see.
Well, Cade McNamara was one of those last year. It didn't work out because he got an injury, and then him coming back was the reason why you guys were going to be great this year.
No. We're going to be great because we returned every O-lineman. I may have said that. That's just me getting excited, and then you watch some of the practice footage, and yeah, Cade's struggling. He doesn't look fucking great. Okay,
What do you mean?
He's going up against a good defense.
He is going up against a great defense, not a good good defense. We got Caleb Brown, who, I don't know, he transferred from Ohio State. He did get arrested for a Dewey in the offseason, and he's apologized to the fans and said, I can't wait to prove to you guys on the field. All right, I'm sorry I let you down. You didn't let us down, son. Okay?
Not
Just
yet.
catch some touchdowns.
Not yet.
What do you have? A couple pops driving home from dinner?
I was going to say, I've been to Iowa City before. You know how many Deweys I could have gotten there? Thousands. But I didn't get it.
Thousands of times.
This is not a
Shout out
laughing
Mike
matter.
Gundy.
In 2024, you cannot be getting. He'll be on the show tomorrow. Actually. Coach Mike Gundy will be on the show tomorrow. Oklahoma State's head coach will be joining us. Our first conversation with him. I cannot wait. That is going to be a thing. And once again, we'd like to reiterate the fact: can't be driving while intoxicated in 2024.
Nope.
No.
Too many options right now. Back in the day, though, it was a much different world. And if you're young, I don't think you'll ever understand. And if you come from a place where they don't drive much, like big cities and stuff like that, I don't think you fully understand. There was people back in the day that when they were told that driving drunk was illegal, they were confused. That is what. That's
They were
not
pissed.
Pissed
They were
off.
pissed.
That is not
fucking drink.
That is not that long ago. So we do not agree with their sentiment, but that is the reality of a situation in a lot of places. So now in 2024, can't have it.
Yeah,
Can't do it.
people are going, all right, I get it. I can't do 10 shots and drive. And they said, no, beer. Beer too?
You're telling me I can't have this sitting in their car. You're telling me I can't?
Bullshit.
One beer? Well, you could probably have one, but it's going to be close. Well, of course I'm not just going to have one.
I ain't drinking just one beer. I got a sixer. I'm going to drink those on the way home, okay? Worked a long day here.
Okay, for you.
For you,
damn it.
Don't be doing it.
Don't do it.
Too many options, 2020. I'm happy they figured that out. Technology has made that better.
Click it or ticket.
That
Yeah,
too.
that's also.
Of course. Of course.
I'm not getting into that one.
Also, it's not a ticket, technically. You can't get pulled over for that.
Yes, you can in Indiana.
100%.
Really?
1,000.
Yeah.
You get pulled over for being on your phone. You can get pulled over for anything.
Yeah,
If you're looking at your phone.
Bro, there was a commercial.
Since when?
When they launched this click it or ticket thing, and I used to be a pretty loud critic of the I got to put my seatbelt on, because when I was growing up, I met a kid whose uncle, I believe, either uncle's friend or uncle, ended up getting into a car accident. Car caught on fire, wasn't able to get
Yeah,
The trap
thing
because the
melted.
thing melted, so wasn't able to get out. So the story, how it was relayed to me was he was like worst case scenario, worst case imaginable. So that literally stuck with me. This is when I was like a kid. And I'm like, okay, so I'm never going to get stuck in there. And I was against seatbelts for a long time, which is not great because all the other studies that they tell you. But also from what I heard, firsthand experience, there's also an opportunity that could happen to you. And that sounds like literally the worst
For sure.
situation that you could ever have. I am back to being a seatbelt person. I wear seatbelts now. I feel like such an adult whenever I do it. But I get on my motorcycle, I don't have to wear a helmet. So just tell me how it makes sense. You know, tell me how I have to have glasses on, cover my eyes, which makes sense. And I should, and you should if you're on a bike. But I don't have to have a helmet. But if I'm in my car that is built like a tank, and it actually has been used as a tank in past warfare, I have to have it. I don't know how. I just don't know how it works. I'm a seatbelt person. I think people should use a seatbelt. But also, I don't know if that should be something you could get pulled over for. That feels like something.
Yeah,
else.
I thought it was a secondary ticket. I didn't think you could be pulled over for a seatbelt.
No, yeah, you can, yeah. Always a worry of mine. But I wore the tank top a lot, so it looked like I felt it. Like, so when the cops driving by, they can't. That's like the sticker on your license plate.
Oh, yeah.
That needs to be up to date.
Yes.
Backlights need to be good. Let's not let them catch you with the phone up. Let's not get that. Never want to get pulled over. No, thank you to the police.
Thank you, police.
Thank you to the police. But never want to get any. I have like let's just not even raise any alarms.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, I mean, you could get pulled over for anything. Like, you're wearing that Boston hat, they get pulled over. They come by with their billy club, hit the back tail light out. Hey, Boston, your tail light's out.
So not everybody does that, obviously, but there has been certainly stories of that happening in the past, and the good cops hate hearing those stories, obviously, because that paints them all as bad. So what Tone just said there has happened, but it is not.
Also, in a movie, they have been walking tall.
Okay. All right. That's a documentary, which
Sure.
Yep.
About The Rock.
The Rock, yeah.
Becoming a
Dwayne,
sheriff.
yeah.
Yep.
is it. They go in the jungle there.
That's
a rundown.
That's
Yeah.
a rundown.
Yep.
John
Carried
Taylor
the 2x4,
Craig.
right?
That's good.
Yeah.
He's against guns in that one.
So what are you guys comparing the Instigators to? What
I've
are
never. I still haven't seen it. I'm just saying. You said like I went into it like, this is The Rock. It's like a movie like The Rock.
No, I never. I went in low expectations because Matt Damon. Remember, because the hit or miss factor.
Yeah.
But then as I'm watching it, you quickly realize what it is. And it's like, okay, this is this style of movie. And then you get into it. It's good. Casey Affleck, good. Very, very good.
Yeah, he's a great actor. But like recent Matt Damon for me is the Nike movie, the Jordan movie in the fucking Ford vs Ferrari. That's why I was thinking like, oh, okay, here we go.
The Great Wall.
Yeah, but you're from Boston too.
That's what I'm saying. I'm Homer rooting for him. Yeah.
For me, it's like, hey, Boston guy, get the fuck off my TV if you're going to let downsizing hit, you know.
Yeah.
You're going to let that
Never
get
saw
out.
that one.
A lot of people
Sounds like I won't.
downsizing followed by Suburbicon would have been career
Back to back.
enders.
Yeah, back to back. That is what I
never heard of Suburbicon.
Me neither.
honestly.
It's supposed to be a comedy, I think. It's dark
The
humor.
Martian's good though. I like The Martian.
Love that.
I haven't seen it. I'm going to check it out. But I'm back in on Matt Damon because of the Instigators.
Hell yeah.
He's legit.
I'll watch
He's
it tonight.
All right, sweet. If this goes in, you're going to think it's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
This one.
Oh,
That felt good.
That was
Thought it
good.
was in.
That was
Yeah.
good.
Good.
I was eyeing it. I was eyeing it. All right, if this goes in, 20 people, $500.
Okay.
25 people, $500.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Shucks.
Thought it was in.
I know it feels good.
Looks real good.
That feeble ball.
Yeah, I want to go in.
25 people, $500. If this FIBA ball, international basketball, which is created by an association that might be some greedy corporate fat cats.
Yeah, they're corrupt.
Potentially. That 3-on-3 situation, kind of the way it's unfolding and how they have a professional 3-on-3
I
league.
love it.
They're scared.
And they run the Olympics for 3-on-3. And we have a professional 3-on-3 that just had their champion. Did you see the highlight? Did you see the way that ended? The game winner? And then there was almost a fight?
Yeah.
It's a physical game.
Yeah, very.
Game.
Yeah, we don't think they could potentially go to the fucking Olympics and beat all these teams? Okay. And we got all those people saying, it's a different sport. It's a different thing. It's like, okay, we got 6'8" guys that are fighting tooth and nail for this fucking Big Three championship. You don't think they would absolutely, I mean, look at this shit.
Oh, yeah.
This is game winning point. Foul. 3 fouls there, not called. Count it. Game over. And then what? Well, we're going to do our dance. Oh, they cut it off right there. Winning team there sprints to the other team's bench, starts flipping their chairs on there and pushing. Like full on.
Was that Corey Brewer?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, Corey Brewer go over there and dominate.
I was going to say,
Yes.
played in the
GPs,
NBA
boys.
for like 14 years.
Yeah.
So what we're saying, FIBA, is let's put our swords down, okay? And let's let the greats be great. If this ball goes in, they're going to let the Big Three guys into the Olympics next year.
Okay.
But what do you think NFL guys can beat out flag football guys?
I did see old buddy say,
I don't know.
we earned it. Now listen, I respect the amount of work that you all have put into flag football. We have gotten a chance to enjoy the shit out of flag football on multiple occasions. When they had the flag football championships on NFL Network just a couple years ago, I think they had a finals here in Indianapolis at Butler University. We got to see it. The sport is obviously fantastic. What it's doing for the sport of football is great. Younger people are getting into it. People that maybe don't want to take any contact. Girls are able to play. It's now going to be in the Olympics. What the flag football community has done is remarkable for the sport of football. With that being said, we're talking about the Olympics. You don't just get to earn. You fucking earn your spot on there, okay? And if old buddy who said that we have grown this game and we're the ones that deserve to be the ones that represent the United States, if you make the team, I think you certainly do, but they're going to have quite an advantage. They know the rules. They know the strategy. They know the move. The move is this one. The move is this one. The move is this one right here. So if NFL guys can't get that move, the flag football guys are going to have an advantage over them anyways. But to just act like you get it because you've played it long enough, you don't think Tyreek Hill would play flag football if he wasn't busy, I don't know, playing in the fucking NFL, pal? That's not how this goes.
Trying to win gold.
We play for keeps.
Yeah, we're trying to win, dude. It's our fucking sport. And, you know, the people that built up Team USA that went up to Canada and fucking embarrassed us, they spent a lot of time trying to build that up, too. Let's get them the fuck out, all right? Now, I'm not saying flag football, same people. Because the flag football players that we watch on NFL Network should have quite an advantage, AJ. Legitimately. Because it's a different sport, different run, different moves, different everything. So I think they should have an advantage. But just I didn't hear how he said it, but I just read the quote saying, we deserve spots on the team. It's like, if you earn them, that's welcome to the fucking...
Best players go. Best players go. You make the squad, you got it.
Bingo.
Earn it. You got it. You should have an advantage, too. You know the sport much better. But if Tyreek Hill wants to play for the United States of America, there's only one of those.
This guy's quarterback who's saying all this stuff, right? Yeah. I want Lamar Jackson. I think he'd be pretty fucking good at flag football, too. So
I want Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he'd also be pretty good. You know what? Let's put them both on.
I want Josh Allen.
Oh, there we go. He'd be all right.
So he could try out against all these guys.
Exactly.
Because we're representing the United States of America. And if he wins,
he could be all-time center.
no,
Yeah, he can run
we
some
don't know.
routes.
We don't know how he is. As a center. If that's where he wants to make the team, cool.
Could be OC because the strategy's different.
There you go. Head coach.
No, I'm assuming
I
we
don't know.
will have some masterminds.
Yeah,
If
McVay.
McVay wants to get into this for the United States of America in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
like,
Andy Reid.
and I guess they're saying there's been some discussions in the NFL at high level on whether or not players are allowed to play in the Olympics or not. They are. What are we? We're not fucking. Let's not overthink this NFL. This is not the NHL. The NHL did this, and it hurt hockey. I think personally. So we do not. You let the guys go play for the United States of America in our sport. What's that?
Now we're thinking about it. Boy, is the NFL going to risk one of their ponies going to the flag football and just cutting wrong?
Can't be this short-sighted.
I agree. I'm just
We're talking about gold medals
I'm not
here.
talking about me. I'm
Not
talking
only
about
gold medal, we're talking about the sport of football.
talking about the NFL.
We're talking about this is dream team type shit.
They're only missing practice too, though. It's different. If they had to miss games, they would never let that happen. If
Yeah,
would've
they
missed
already
some practice,
promoted it
it's fine.
too with Jalen Hurts.
Well, and the NFL is
Yeah,
running
like
flag
they're
football
all in.
stuff
Yeah.
right now. So it's like,
Let's add just regular football to the Olympics.
Bingo.
As well.
That'd be fun.
I would like that.
Yeah.
I would like that.
That'd be fun.
And let's remember, if any of these aliens show up, what will we always be able to beat them in? Fucking football.
That's right.
So don't ever worry about them taking over. We'll do an Oklahoma drill and fucking Dahn on their back. Well, they're not able to go on their back. They have 4 legs. Well, you don't think we'll find leverage on a motherfucker? You don't think Aaron Donald?
Yeah, we'll flip.
We'll figure it out. He will. I'm sick of it. Sick of it. So, FIBA, here's to you.
Yep.
Being on the same page with the rest of the world. Let's just find out who the best is.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to
here
find
for
out who the best is. Let's do it. If this goes in 25 people, $500, all I got to do is repost this, say something nice to somebody, and put the easiest way to pay you. Fuck. It's not going in.
That ball stinks.
This
Yeah, it
ball,
does.
though, is a good one.
Okay.
Oh.
25, 5.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Ooh.
Is there a weight disparity a little bit? So FIBA's trying to fuck with the balls, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so small.
So, like, when Durant's over there just burying the shots, like, oh, the ball. Steph Curry there early, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't.
Had to figure it
That's why
out.
later on.
And then when he figured it out, he's like, oh, that ball's stupid. Of course it is. It's FIBA. And then he
Yeah.
Yeah.
got it. Sorry, nobody wins. It sucks. We're out of here. That's the end of it. Football season.
Oh. There you go.
That
Ooh.
was a good snap.
That was.
It was.
So,
Oh, how short? Real short?
a little short,
low,
just need
low.
higher, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh,
Ooh.
too high.
Now just
Too
less.
high.
Now just less power.
Low.
Right in between.
Say go.
Good looking snaps.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's the one. That's the one.
Oh, my
Off the rim.
The recess ball.
Yeah, here we go. That one hit the rim, though.
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. Might change their life. That's a shame. We need to make one of those.
Yeah, those are good snaps.
Add that to the
Good
repertoire.
snaps.
Those are going to be 50 for 500 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, very tough.
Small hoop.
It's the hardest one for sure.
Yeah, the angle.
I mean, maybe into the net.
No, that's too easy. I think I've already done that. That's really far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
tough.
Yeah, but I think with the velocity you're just showing,
You're also doing it from a elevated position.
There it is.
that's a good snap.
Yeah, I mean that you
Jeez.
push that thing back another 15 yards, and I think you'd still be okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep, there it is.
So like worst case scenario,
There you go.
Hold on. Oh, salmon it in.
worst case scenario, they were bringing in another holder if the snapper went down and you would snap.
I would, every once in a while, they bring in like a camp leg.
You would snap.
Yeah, and I would just start snapping them.
Good skills there.
That'd be sweet.
Happened to the Chiefs this weekend?
Yeah, Noah Gray.
Mm-hmm.
He said he'd never done it before. They taught him on the sideline.
Yep. Worked out.
Nailed it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Athlete.
It's a tough position. That's literally, you get one wrong, you're done. But if you swing a hot bat, you have a job forever. Like 20 years.
For sure. Yeah. You used to get blasted too. You don't get blasted anymore.
Yeah, now you're protected. Got to be able to cover. You got to be able to do two of the three things really good. Snap really good, protect really good, or cover really good. Two of those three have to be very good or you're gone. Two of the three.
Snap being the most important.
Some guys, like your punt snaps, not field goal snaps have to be always
field
good.
goal money.
But punt snaps, there's some snappers that have been very not like great, but they're
They can cover and
get tackles.
Yeah, they're making tackles and stuff. I would much rather that guy get cut and just give me
give me the perfect snap.
Give me a good. Just you give me a good. I'll worry about the tackle here, and if we need you, we're in trouble anyways.
Yeah.
But if you get a guy that can do all three, weapon. Matt Overton just worked out for another team, I think.
Really? Jeez.
Yeah, keep going. This has to be like
15.
I mean, a long time.
Yeah.
Keep going, Ovi. Keep going, Ovi. Somebody on a scooter, a couple kids on a scooter outside. That's good. We'll handle that.
Mitt and Bone in our
it's all
little
good.
recess.
On our land?
Nah, they're right outside staring at our. I mean, these two kids are just staring at me on scooters right now. Good to see those kids. Hope they're safe. Hope they're having a fun day. It is nice and chilly, so get outside, do your thing. Sun's shining. It's not overheating. It's a wonderful time to be alive.
Hell yeah.
We can't thank you all enough for allowing us to do this. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change your life. We're in this thing together. Team on me. Team on three. 1, 2, 3. Goodbye.